Hello, everyone. Welcome to an all-new episode of the Anination Podcast. Hope you guys are listening to us pretty well. I know last week I didn't realize our microphones were attached to the 4K camera, and our microphones were never disconnected at all. So that's our bad. Hopefully, you guys can hear us better this time around.
Yeah, this is a huge lesson to us in that we should always, test our mics.
Well, I mean, we forgot to do that, and we were thinking because of the whole change in environment that we're thinking like it'll be the same thing with the microphones, but no, that's not the case. We actually have to do everything all over again when you make a new transitions for your presentation to say.
Yeah, making transition ain't easy, but
nah. I mean, I could just get it off Streamlabs, dude. Yeah.
But then, but rest assured is that we'll definitely give you guys a very clear.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you guys can hear us. Again, reply back on the comments if you can't hear us, and then we'll fix the audio up. But if there is no complaints, then I think we're ready to get things started.
Yeah, so we're counting on y'all to just comment below and let us know if we sound unclear or can't hear anything at all. Yeah, it's really up to the viewers as well.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and start this podcast. All right. Well, hello everybody. Well, actually, I forgot one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
My bad. That has to be recorded too. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Hello everybody. Welcome to an all-new episode of the Anination Podcast. My name is Nate, and Omid is over here.
What is up, Anination World? How y'all doing? And hope y'all are getting prepared for spring because spring's about to come your way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, March is here, so I'm assuming spring has sprung.
Yeah. That means spring cleaning, maybe going to a picnic, and having a good time in the spring all around.
I mean, spring is just more of like, well, the weather's getting warmer, you know, there's that kind of stuff. That's how spring is. But yeah.
Yeah, so, get ready because we want to deliver all the good news to you guys.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we have a lot of good things when it comes to the world of animation, and we have a lot of hot topics to discuss. But let's actually break down and see what happened this week. So, I mean, how has your week been?
My week has been... My weekend has been relatively pretty chill. Of course, on Sunday we had a dinner family party in order to celebrate the Iranian New Year that's about to come up, and also I spent the weekend. I got started on watching Bleach: the Thousand Year War Blood arc.
Okay.
And it is like it's really so epic. Everything like from the animation to the fights to everything is just, oh my gosh, I was mesmerized by it.
Yeah, the Bleach is definitely something different compared to like long ago when you started watching Bleach back in like the 2000s and stuff. They picked it up and everything is doing good for Bleach, which is really great. I haven't caught up on the show, but I heard it was pretty epic.
Oh yeah. Now I haven't watched all of Bleach. I have a soft spot for this show because it's the first anime that got me into anime in the first place.
Nice.
It was what kickstarted my love for anime, and so I can't help but I can't help but return the favor by watching its final conclusion. And I'm glad that I'm doing it.
Yeah, so I mean, I know Bleach is about to end after the 1,000-Year War, but I'm not in a rush to watch it. I'm currently like trying to catch up on animes like, for example, Mashal. I don't know if you heard about that show, but I'm cosplaying from that show eventually.
Ring, bum, bum, ring,
yeah, bling
that
bong
one.
bum bum. Yeah, dude, the song is so epic, by the way. So
I haven't seen Mashal, but I'm aware of its iconic opening theme.
yeah, because everyone knows about the song.
And especially, there's some by Creepy Nuts.
Yeah, well, Creepy Nuts has been a popular band in anime recently, so
They really have.
they've done
They've
done Dan Dan, they've done what's it called, The Night, and then of course Mashal, and I believe there's gonna be more animes that they're gonna be dropping too. But no, Creepy Nuts is a great band.
Yeah, I'm hoping that one day we could go to a Creepy Nuts concert.
If they ever come to the United States.
Hopefully. And a 1,000-year, and all around, my aunt from Canada is currently visiting, so we're making sure we're entertaining her. So yeah,
She here for like a couple weeks or something?
just a couple weeks. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I just saw her downstairs.
And last but not least, okay, so a couple of days ago, I went to see The Day the Earth Blew Up, the Looney Tunes movie.
What's funny is that I watched it yesterday, so...
Yeah. And yeah, it is just amazing. Like, really is a return to form for the Looney Tunes because it's definitely something that we as the animation fans all have to come together to support this project because, yeah, it's at a vulnerable state, and especially how it's not doing very well in the box office like we hope we do.
Yeah, it was only racked in $3 million, which is kind of disappointing, but I've been seeing a resurgence of people going into the theaters. Yesterday when I was watching The Day the Earth Blew Up, it wasn't a full house, unfortunately, but there were a couple of sections that like, well, the other thing too is that the theater wasn't like it was a very small theater that they showed the thing. It's not like a XD theater or like one of those big theaters where you watch like, you know, Captain America or something like that.
Yeah, the theater auditorium I went to, it was about 3 or 4 seats, including mine, that was filled. Everything else was empty.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, and it took place in a small auditorium, and I'm thinking, this movie deserves better than that.
I know, it's just at least deserves a bigger like auditorium for a movie, but that's not the case here. They're not looking at it that well because like only $3 million in the box office. They're thinking like, oh, it's just gonna be another movie that's just gonna pass in a couple of weeks, and they're like putting it into the small auditoriums, which sucks because the movie was just really good. I'm just gonna say it right there, it's good.
Yeah, and like screw Warner Bros. Max for.
We're gonna be discussing that later.
Yeah,
we're gonna be discussing that later.
No, I'm talking about the marketing of the movie.
Okay.
They really did a poor job of marketing this movie.
Okay, yeah, that's true, but then Ketchup Entertainment has to be the one to actually put out the trailers and everything because, yeah, I don't see any commercials about it, like, in any network, in, like, anywhere, honestly. And
Looney Tunes are... They deserve better. This movie deserves better than that because it's the Looney Tunes. They've been a household for decades.
I mean, adults know it. Maybe kids in our generation don't know it that much because Looney Tunes weren't like airing that much throughout like this generation. So that's why I'm saying like for us who are older adults who remember growing up watching the Looney Tunes, that's more for us, I think, because like I just see the old wacky comedy with Porky and Daffy in the movie and a bunch of other things here and there that makes me think like, okay, this is kind of like the old like a new version of the old Looney Looney Tunes that we saw back in the old 1950s, 1960s.
Mm-hmm. And a fun fact is that this is the first Looney Tunes movie that is fully 2D animated to be getting a theater release because the previous Looney Tunes movies was a live action animation hybrid. No, this has no live action at all. This is fully animated.
Thank goodness. Yeah. I mean, there was a live action little scene there, but then again, that trailer knew about it. So I'm just saying it out there. You know, there are some like live action Looney Tunes movies that ended up doing pretty well, like Space Jam, for example. I mean, that's a classic for me, kind of like a cult classic for me.
Yeah, Space Jam. We grew up with Space Jam. We don't talk about the sequel.
Forget the sequel.
However, there is another Looney Tunes movie that I like to bring up. That's Looney Tunes Back in Action.
Yeah, I like that one. That was actually not bad. They had Brendan Fraser and Steve Martin in there. Yeah. Like, I didn't expect those two to be a part of it, and they made the movie very funny.
Looney Tunes Back in Action managed to impress me.
And also another thing, too, I think there was a little bit of WB incorporation in that.
Yeah, there was some Hanna-Barbera cameos like Scooby-Doo.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, did we need that, too?
Yeah, I guess it's the movie's way of saying, hey, Scooby and Shaggy are from Warner Bros. As well.
Yeah, well, then again, Space Jam did us so much, by the way, on that it just was terrible to say.
Yeah, Space Jam 2 New Legacy. See, the reason why Back in Action worked is because they used those cameos sparingly. Whereas Space Jam New Legacy, you felt like it was a hour and a half long Max commercial. That's what it was. It was a Max commercial. Yeah, and so you said you saw the movie too. You said you loved it as much as I did.
I did, yes, I did.
Yeah.
And that was like back at yesterday. Again, we didn't have a packed house, but our auditorium was very small, which I think was kind of shocking. I'm like, really? For a movie like this? I thought it would be like a bigger auditorium or stuff, but no, we're pretty much stuck in the corner just with like 50 seats instead of like 100 or 200 seats, you know?
That's how much your parent company doesn't care about the Looney Tunes. They didn't care to market enough, advertise enough to make it have the big.
I think if anything, Ketchup Entertainment came up and actually started making all those advertisements, and that's been so helpful for Looney Tunes to actually, like, for the day the Earth blew up, actually ended up being such a prevalent, like, what movie that for us to watch, for everybody to see.
Ketchup Entertainment deserves Looney Tunes far more than Warner Bros. Does.
Well, they're the ones who make it. Sure. They're the one who made it, so they have to be the ones to own it up. Yes.
Like Ketchup Entertainment, like is the right home for Looney Tunes in terms of studios.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah. So yeah, I watched it yesterday. Besides that, anything else from this week or?
That's pretty much all I gotta say is that it was pretty much all good fun, family time, movie time, anime time, all that stuff.
Yeah, well, for me, it's the same thing too. I mean, my sister came back home this weekend, so me and my family ended up having hang out this weekend. Saturday, I went up with my family. We ended up going to do a early St. Patrick's Day celebration, eating corned beef and lettuce. Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing that people eat during St. Patrick's Day or something, not beer, because you all are, drinkers, drinking beer, wearing green.
Yeah, I mean, like beer and wearing green are the main staple for St. Patrick's Day, but there's more to it than that. Like you said,
I think corned beef is definitely a thing for St. Patrick's Day. Like people make it. Even like my friends say they make corned beef too. I'm like, is this a thing for St. Patrick's Day?
Apparently, St. Patrick's Day food. Apparently,
yeah.
Which I didn't know until now.
You didn't know until now? Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I've had corned beef during any time.
So good. It's some good stuff. Go buy it if you can.
I've had beer, but I haven't had corned beef.
Yeah, I mean corned beef is good. Corned beef is good. But by the way you make it, that is. But yeah. Then on Monday, I went back to work on Monday. So not really much happening. And then Tuesday was when I watched The Day the Earth Blew Up. Really great movie. Yes. So I must say.
Yes, and I root for it to make twice as much or 3 times as much.
We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, we get more people in the seats so it can actually still be in the records. Hopefully, we can last more. Hopefully, it can last more than 1 week in the box office. So, exactly. I'm just hoping like it'll end up becoming really good. So, again, those who haven't watched it, please watch The Day the Earth Blew Up. It is in theaters now. Go support the movie. Go support the theaters, so we can get Coyote vs. Acme out.
Exactly. Those who skip out on Day the Earth Blew Up, I never want to hear you complain about Coyote vs. Acme like getting shelled out again. Because you're not doing your part. You're not supporting this project.
I don't know, man. All right. Anyways, since we did catch up, it's time for us to start our episode. You ready to get things started?
Let's go.
All right. Well, the first thing we need to talk about is a certain trailer that also came out last week for this particular movie, Lilo and Stitch. So the live action movie, we've got a lot of teaser trailers that came up. Stitch pretty much in the sandbox, Stitch being live action himself, and just last week we just saw the first trailer for Lilo and Stitch, and honestly it looked pretty good. But you have other opinions because you were the one who would just continue to bash on it in every episode we talk about this.
Yeah.
Now tell me what happened now, because apparently you changed your mind.
Now, usually when it comes to these Disney live-action remakes, you all know that I am not a fan of these at all. I'm not a fan of Snow White. I'm not a fan of the live-action Lion King. I'm not a fan of live-action Beauty and the Beast. Yeah, all around.
What about the live-action Jungle Book, huh?
That's an exception, but...
You keep saying, like, you hate live-action, yet you do like a couple live-action movies here and there.
But I'm just gonna say this right now. Like, when I saw the Lilo and Stitch trailer, I went into it expecting to not be a fan of it, but when I actually, after the trailer, I came out and I say this right now, it actually looked more decent than I thought. I'm gonna say this right now, it actually looked more appealing than I thought it would, which is really surprising coming from me, the biggest Disney live action hater. But no, when it comes to Lilo and Stitch live action trailer, they actually managed to have some charm in it. Now, I do still think that a live action Lilo and Stitch is still unnecessary. However, when I look at this, I think to myself, it does have potential to work. It does have some potential to work. It has potential to be decent even.
You know what's kind of tripping me out? We never really got like any confirmation about how the actors and actresses of Lilo, her sister, what was it? Pleakley, the aliens, and just so many of the other characters that were going to be there in Lilo and Stitch. How are they going to look like? And to be fair, the Lilo live action kid who's acting her is doing pretty well. Like, she's sweet, she's innocent, and you can see like her interactions with Stitch was pretty cute.
Oh my god, live action Lilo is such an adorable being. Like, she must be protected at all costs.
I know.
She's so cute.
She's actually pretty adorable too. And you also did see like the beginning sequence of the trailer, right? It is pretty much like trying to render what was Lilo and Stitch in the first movie. Like, the Stitch escaped, he went to Earth, and then you can see all the like the alien confederation or something that that whole team trying to stop Stitch from coming in because he's a threat, you know?
Yeah, the aliens, I will say that when it comes to the CGI of the aliens, for the most part, they actually do a decent job in making them at least slightly polished. Whereas, for the most part, with the Disney live action remakes in terms of their CGI, there are times where it can be really uncanny. For example, take a look at Sebastian the Crab with Little Mermaid.
I don't know why they had to put a literal crab as Sebastian. They could have like made him cartoony, not a literal crab.
Exactly.
Same with the fishes in Little Mermaid too. I'm like, flounder looks like that.
The problem is that Disney with their live action remakes tries to make their fish characters or non-human characters so realistic that they forget to make them look appealing. Whereas in Lilo and Stitch, and especially with Stitch, like, oh my gosh, look at the way they made Stitch. Like, they nailed Stitch down to a T. Like, he feels believable as live action Stitch.
I mean, it's kind of crazy when you first saw the trailer. Stitch looks really great CGI. Like, the fur looks great, and even the voice actor's the same too, who's Stitch. And I'm glad that he's reprising his role because it's just really good. Like, if you look at like how the live action scenes versus the animation scenes where he just continues to be around Hawaii, I think it's working out because it's making me look like I'm looking at a real life Stitch like character there.
No other actor could pull off Stitch like Chris Sanders. Chris Sanders is the Stitch.
Yeah, I mean, he even said that he was glad to be back as Stitch and all.
And that's what gives it bonus points for the live action Lilo and Stitch for me, is the return of Chris Sanders. And going back to Lilo, I love the interactions between Lilo and Stitch because that's exactly how you would envision Lilo and Stitch interacting together. Like, Stitch... of course, you all know Stitch. He likes to mess around. He likes to misbehave in Hawaii, and then Lilo tries to keep him in check. That they got the spirit of the original down to a T, and that's what really impressed me about this live action trailer. You feel like it is a legit transition from animation to live action. Like,
well, the thing about this movie is that they're trying to like redo it. Like, you know, try to make it from the live action to animation. And I thought that was pretty neat. Like, everything from the live action trailer that I'm seeing looks pretty legit, that they're actually are trying to do the same thing like they did with the animated movie. Like, Stitch comes down to earth, Lilo has some issues with her classmates doing the hula and stuff. They're trying to make each character be there. So like, I remember that, you remember the ice cream guy?
He actually speaks this time.
Yeah, and he actually has a snow cone this time instead of ice cream for some reason. Although he's there. He was there, and I thought that was pretty sick. That he's just there and that like cops out and, you know, that kind of thing, which is cool. And then we gotta talk about the aliens because you had the Commander Alien. She was also...
the Grand Councilwoman.
The Grand Councilwoman, yes. So she was up there. I remember seeing her. Then I also did see Pleakley too, which he turned from a real-life human to a CGI character of Pleakley. So how do you like that? The fact that we could see versions of Pleakley and I forgot the name of the other guy.
Jamba.
Yeah, so those two.
So Jamba and Pleakley, I do see where they're going in terms of transitioning.
Because they have to. Because I don't know if they actually do switch the humans in the in the animated film.
In the animated film, they still are in their alien form. They put on human disguises.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, they put on human disguises, but they actually do transform to humans, which I thought was like interesting.
Yeah, now, while I would prefer to see the aliens dressing up in human clothes, trying to dress as, you know, humans, especially given the fact that how Pleakley is the ultimate drag queen, I just love seeing Pleakley.
Yeah, because she loves to dress up in girls' clothing, which I thought was, you know, great. Like, hey, we'll have guys dress up in girls' clothing. Why not?
I like that. But I think that going the direction in which they have this gadget in which they fully transform into a human, I want to see how it plays out. It can either make or break Jumbo or Pleakley. It all comes down to the execution.
Well, how do you like the whole design of Pleakley at the moment? Because he does look, well, really, like, it's not the same Pleakley like you saw in the animated movie. It's more of like, oh my god, it's a CGI version. It looks like, what is it? A little different looking compared to what you saw in the animated film.
Oh god. Now, while not the worst CGI I've seen in Disney live action movies, when I look at CGI Pleakley, something about him just feels a bit off in comparison to the other.
Yeah, because like CGIs. Stitch looks great. Pleakley, on the other hand, doesn't.
So
I'm kind of wondering how about the other aliens, like Jumba. How is he gonna look like? How about the other big alien, like
Gantu?
Yeah, Gantu. Yeah, him. What about him? Like, how would he look like? Because I didn't see him at all in the live action movie.
I think that they're gonna release another trailer soon, in which it's gonna fully show Jumba and Gantu, and even give Pleakley more of a presence and appearance in the second trailer. But I will say this, that if the aliens are going to look this unpolished, this unfinished, then honestly, I'm not exactly against the idea of Jumbo and Pleakley transforming themselves fully into humans.
Mm-hmm. Well, if anything, I do like that idea because, hey, I guess, like, I get it. Like, they didn't do it when they did it in the animated series and even the animated movie. But if they were to transform into humans, I think this is a good technology to have where they actually become humans. They just need to voice act differently, because I know Pleakley and Jumba both have, like, their own different voice actors, and I hope they come back, by the way, so they can actually reprise their roles, if anything.
Yeah, although Jumba's voice actor did pass away.
Oh, right, ago. I forgot
David
about that.
David Ogden Stiers, may he rest
Okay,
in
so
peace.
somebody else is going to be taking over Jumba's voice if that happens.
Yeah, and I really hope that he pulls it off and pays as an ultimate tribute to the late actor, because we all miss him, and I do hope that he will, capture, what made Jumba such an iconic character.
All right. I think one other person that I also want to bring up, I mean, Lilo's sister, definitely, Nani has been great. Looked like she does care for Lilo and, does as the big sister does. And then what about that security guard? That little guy, the guard with the,
Cobra Bubbles?
Bubbles, there you go. Yeah.
Cobra Bubbles, the social worker for Lilo.
He was there. Like, he was there also in the trailer, and, like, he had his own, like, Escalade with the glasses and the suit on. And somebody tells me, like, okay, maybe we'll see Bubbles do something crazy. I don't know. Like, again, I haven't seen the movie in so long. I don't know what Bubbles will do.
I think that they're trying to go a different direction with Cobra Bubbles, because if you see in the trailer itself, you would see Cobra Bubbles being involved in more extraterrestrial missions.
Well,
and
wasn't
business.
he a part of that? I know he was supposed to protect Lilo, but like...
Yeah, so in the animated version, Cobra Bubbles, like, there were few scenes here and there that did show that he knows about extraterrestrial life. Like, you'll see at the end of Cobra Bubbles, like, aliens are all about rules.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I will say, like, the animated version of Cobra Bubbles, they focus more on the social worker aspect of him, more so than the secret agents aspect of him. I feel like with the live action form, it's either gonna be, vice versa, or they're gonna focus on, they're gonna make it even split where, like, for half of Cobra Bubbles' appearance, he's gonna focus on being Lilo's social worker, and then the other half, he's gonna, show investigating the aliens.
I mean, again, Bubbles' case is just more of, like, protecting Lilo or also working with aliens and stuff like that. I don't know what his role is. I just know he appeared in the trailer. Other characters that I don't think I saw in the trailer. What about Lilo's, like, classmates or something? Remember that girl with the glasses? Like, what happened to her?
Myrtle, yeah.
Yeah, what happened to her? Like, what happened to the other students that, bully her or something?
I think that you do see Myrtle, for a brief second, you do show her pushing Lilo as she dances the hula dance. And yeah, the moment I saw it, I thought to myself, that there's that little Brad Myrtle I know.
That Myrtle was also in the animated series too, and she didn't really get any better.
Yeah, it's really sad when you consider the fact of how it's the same voice actress as the one who voiced the sweet Lenny Loud.
Oh yeah, that's right. Liliana Mummy did voice
talk about
her as well. Although to be fair, she was very young probably then when she voiced her.
But it all comes down to the contrast of personalities between the role she plays. You do see the contrast, and yeah, it shows how Liliana Mummy does have that range. But anyway, going back to this, yeah, you really do show how from that brief second, you see how lonely Lilo can get because of her being an outcast, for liking weird stuff, liking Elvis and zombies and all. And that's what makes this movie very promising, is that they showed that lonely aspect of Lilo where she needs a friend. She even prays for a friend, just like she did.
That's right. And then the whole shooting star comes down, and that was Stich.
Disney, you got it right.
I'm telling you, like, they're trying to reincorporate the animated series into the live action movie, and they're doing pretty well so far. I'm just saying.
Disney, you're getting it right. You're getting it right so far. You're getting it right so far. I'm cautiously optimistic about how you put off, but you're getting it right so far.
You're still cautiously there. Okay, you're still 50-50 in this freaking movie.
I'm still 50-50 because there's that small chance that it could turn out to be crap.
Oh my gosh.
Small chance.
No. I having some full faith in this after the first trailer, so something tells me, like, I might watch it in, like, not really like in the first weekend, but I'm just saying it's on my radar for me to watch it.
No, I said very small chance. Like, I'm not going to say that, it's going to be great for sure because, I want to go in with realistic expectations. Okay. But when I look at the Lilo and Stitch trailer, honestly, I have much more faith in this than Snow White and How to Train Your Dragon combined.
Wow, How to Train Your Dragon also, even though they're even doing the same thing too, copying from like the animated series and trying to make it live action. And that looks legit, but we'll discuss that another day.
I feel like with the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake, it feels a bit redundant. Whereas with the Lilo and Stitch trailer,
I still think How to Train Your Dragon, like if you want to bring back the franchise of How to Train Your Dragon, this is a way to do it. Like you even have the voice actor of the father, even being a part of the live action movie.
But one thing that this movie has, the upper hand that this movie has, is capturing that Hawaiian spirit. Like from beginning to end of the trailer,
there was that too.
You can see how well they captured Hawaii, from the beaches to the trees to that Hawaiian roller coaster ride, all the way down.
We
to
had
the
the
waves.
song. That's right. They did have a different version of the song.
All the way down to the waves, and everything about this just screams live action Lilo and Stitch done right. And I'll say it right now, it could be the best Disney live action remake since Jungle Book.
We'll see about that. Again, we'll discuss that maybe later. I mean, that's way too. Yeah. That's already putting a big stance already on it. I'm just saying.
Yeah. I think this is probably because like I've grown up with Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch is definitely one of my absolute favorite franchises growing up. Lilo and Stitch holds a special place in my heart. It's one of my top 5 favorites of all time. So that's why there's this huge nostalgia part of me that's really excited for this.
So you're gonna plan to see this in the first weekend?
Maybe not first weekend. I'll maybe wait, see how the reviews are, and then before considering going to see it the second weekend.
So do you think it will do well financially and critically? Because something tells me they're doing well. It's gonna do well. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be number 1, like when it hits Memorial Day weekend. Because look at it now. Like, have you seen today that they just dropped brand new like posters where Stitch is in every other movie. Like he's in every other live action movie, from Aladdin to Cinderella to
the live action posters. Yeah, you see Stitch with the lamp. You see Stitch with the slipper.
I love the marketing right now, Disney. You're doing the same thing like you did back in the animated series. So I'm just saying, I think this might go well.
It all comes down to each and every character saying, "Get your own movie."
Yeah, but I don't know. But wait for the advertisements, because I can't wait to see like a scene from Cinderella, and then Stitch comes out of nowhere and starts ruining the whole movie.
Yeah, I like seeing your trailer.
Because I remember like when you first saw the Little Stitch trailers, you saw Stitch being like brought up. Like I remember the scene from Lion King, for example. Like when
that's not Simba.
Yeah, and then everybody freaked out. All the animals freaked out, and he did a big roar. Yeah.
And also, there's this one in which Belle and the Beast do their iconic ballroom dance, and then Stitch pretty much makes the chandelier go down, and then Belle's like, "I'll be in my room."
Same with Ariel. I think with Little Mermaid too. I remember like Stitch ruins like Ariel's big moment where she was getting out of the waves and stuff.
Yeah, and Ariel's like, "Hey, I was singing here," and throws a starfish at him.
I'm just saying, like, if they're gonna do, if they could do advertisements like that for the live action series, then you pretty much got me going to watch it now.
Yeah, and I think that those posters really do help, because they really do show how no matter what form, and whether it be animated or live action, Stitch is still Stitch. Like, he does feel like the same Stitch we know and love.
Mm-hmm. All right, so I think, if anything, this is going to be, I think what we're looking right now in the future, I know it comes out in May in a couple of months, but something tells me this is going to be a successful movie to me.
Yeah, it's definitely going to do financially well for sure. In terms of critically, I definitely want to see how it goes. It could come down to its execution, but I think that for the most part, it does have potential to work well, even amongst critics and audiences.
Mm-hmm. Well, if anything, Lilo and Stitch, the live action movie, comes out in Memorial Day weekend. Yes. So I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it for sure. So I hope you guys love it as well.
Again, cautiously optimistic about this, but I can't wait to see how Disney will pull off this live action Lilo and Stitch.
All right. So let's go over to our next news, because we now go from good news that we heard from when it comes to this trailer to something that I think is absolutely bad news. And that is pertaining to this particular beloved franchise, Looney Tunes. If you haven't been noticing up recently, last month, a couple days ago, Warner Brothers Discovery removed all of the classic Looney Tunes shorts from the Max. They will no longer be having OG classic Looney Tunes on the streaming service anymore. The unfortunate part is that the timing, this is kind of like really bad timing considering like we just talked about how the day the Earth blew up is in theaters right now. And we're thinking there could be a resurgence of Looney Tunes fans, but how can they be Looney Tunes fans if the OG Looney Tunes cartoons are gone?
Yeah, and not to mention that the OG Looney Tunes cartoons are what made Looney Tunes fans Looney Tunes fans. So this already, especially with the timing, like you pointed out, this is a massive, bad sign. It's a massively bad sign, and it's going to be bad for how the day the Earth blew up.
I just don't understand why they decided to remove it because I've been hearing from the rumor mill it's because of the bad ratings or bad viewership because like nobody's watching Looney Tunes. That's why they took it out.
Because David Zaslav hates animation.
I don't get it. Like it doesn't make any sense, and it came at a bad time because I would assume with people watching the day the Earth blew up, then they're gonna probably pop back into the Looney Tunes cartoons, and start watching them again.
Yeah, and that's honestly the biggest sin that David Zaslav has committed. That's the biggest crime against Warner Brothers because it's one thing when you do it to say Scooby-Doo or Tom and Jerry, but no, this is the Looney freaking Tunes. The Looney Tunes have been the poster children for Warner Brothers for decades.
Look. Bugs Bunny is the well-known icon for WB. I mean, you've seen him eat his carrot. You've seen him throughout 50s through the 90s.
Exactly.
Bugs Bunny in every short, and that's what kind of brought Warner Brothers back to its flagship stuff.
Yeah.
And then you removed him out of property. What the hell? This is kind of really a bad move for Max for Warner Brothers Discovery. I don't understand this move at all because this is great. It's just a good formula for Looney Tunes to go well. If the day the Earth blew up did well, then maybe more Looney Tunes fans will come in, but you're kind of sabotaging it because of removing all of anything that's Looney Tunes in the Max streaming service.
This tells me that David Zaslav, Warner Bros. Discovery have no faith in the day the Earth blew up doing well at all, up to a point where they have to get rid of some of the Looney Tunes projects.
Yeah. I just don't get what Zaslav is doing at the moment when it comes to this particular move. One other big thing about this, I also heard from the rumor mill about why they ended up making this move is because of their transition into adult and family programming. This is not family programming.
Yeah, and if anything, the Looney Tunes may be cartoons, but no, Looney Tunes can go, a bit more vulgar than you think.
Well, I'm just saying, Bugs Bunny, if you look back at the old Looney Tunes cartoons, they are pretty interesting.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say a lot of bad stuff here and there, but there was a lot of bad stuff if you actually watched it again.
Yeah, there's especially violence there that
it's loony violence. Yeah, you're never gonna see a person actually die, survive an anvil fall.
It's violence, which brings up my point is that the Looney Tunes are less family friendly than you may think.
Right.
Despite them being cartoons.
I mean, they're just cartoon characters, cool, but there are a bunch of other things in those cartoons that makes you think, oh, this is not friendly for sure. I can look back at like all the old cartoons as well, and I'll just say like, no, some of these better not be on the air again.
Yeah, and seriously, you know, like cartoons like What's Up with Duck
Okay, those are great. Duck Amuck definitely was like absolutely funny.
Birds Anonymous was iconic as well.
Okay, yes. Okay, look, we're not gonna go through every one of them because we're gonna pretty much like last a freaking episode. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm just saying like these are great shorts, but like I don't know, like just something with Max just taking out Looney Tunes is pretty much taking out like one of your biggest icons in the franchise, and now it makes me think like, what's Warner Brothers anymore? What is Warner Brothers Discovery anymore? Like, what is the one thing that's like leading them to become like what Max is? Is it HBO? Is it DC? What is the icon? Because I knew Bugs Bunny was the icon for WB, so I don't get why they took out Bugs Bunny now.
Warner Brothers would not be Warner Brothers if not for Looney Tunes. So this is definitely a dirty way of repaying Bugs Bunny for holding up that flagship. It just feels really dirty to me.
Yeah. But by the way, did every Looney Tunes property gone from Max? Because
not quite, because although the classic Looney Tunes cartoons are sadly gone, there are still Looney Tunes projects that you can check out on Max that are still there. So far, we don't know the fate of those projects yet, but there's also the new Looney Tunes cartoons. There's also the Wabbit cartoon series, which is now known as New Looney Tunes. Mm-hmm. And there's also this Bugs and Daffy Thanksgiving road trip episode that I've heard of.
Mm-hmm. But why don't we have like, what was it? The Looney Tunes cartoons. Remember, they used to be like a flagship on Max, especially during the pandemic. But That's gone now. Like, I'm missing on the shorts, guys. There were like really classic like stuff. Even the Looney Tunes cartoons in 2020, like those ones are also gone.
Yeah, somehow Baby Looney Tunes is there for some reason.
That was yeah.
Like, wow, you actually had to rub salt to the wound by keeping the only legit crappy Looney Tunes cartoons there, Baby Looney Tunes.
Okay, if anything, is Space Jam still there? 1, not 2.
Yeah,
screw 2.
Like, hopefully 1's still there. 2, I could care less about.
At least one is still there, right? Right? I don't know if it is.
Hopefully, we'll have to double check.
Yeah. And then here's the other thing too. Like, we're gonna bring back to the day the Earth blew up because it is a thing that is going to help Looney Tunes get back on its feet.
Yeah.
Because what I'm seeing right now is that after what the day the Earth blew up happened, it turned out to be pretty good to say that there are some big moves. Today, we've also heard that there's a chance that Coyote vs. Acme might be airing now. It's different because it's gonna be bought by Ketchup Entertainment.
Yes.
But who knows which streaming service that's gonna go to?
Ketchup Entertainment deserves Looney Tunes far more than Warner Bros. Ever does.
Yeah,
right
because right now they've shelved it, and if Ketchup Entertainment makes a deal with getting Coyote vs. Acme, then we're gonna watch that movie. We're definitely going to be seeing it. It may not be in theaters, but we're going to see it, thankfully.
Ketchup Entertainment, please save the one.
And also, if you can you pick up Bye Bye Bunny? Because, that was also shelved as well by Warner Brothers. So I'm just saying, like, they're screwing up the Warner Brothers stuff here.
Like, I feel like, Ketchup Entertainment does have that chance to be the savior of the Looney Tunes. Similar to how Netflix was the savior to Nimona.
Yeah.
It could play that same role.
So with the fact that Looney Tunes is gone, what's the solution? I have one solution that I think is going to happen, and I think is please watch The Day the Earth Blew Up, because with all the positivity that's going on with that movie, it could probably bring back the Looney Tunes, and maybe WB might change their freaking mind.
Yeah. So that's why I said it's up to us animation fans, to deliver a message to Warner Bros. Discovery and to Hollywood studios everywhere that animation does matter. It's not just, we can't just talk the talk. We got to walk the walk. We got to walk to the movie theater, watch the movie, and support it.
And then who knows, maybe we might actually see the day of light when it comes to, Coyote vs. Acme or all the Looney Tunes shorts, even Bye Bye Bunny. I mean, come on, we're missing out on these amazing Looney Tunes projects, and they need to be brought back without Warner Brothers because they're currently being shit right now.
Exactly. It all comes down to really poor management because David Zaslav is a hack. He's a hack who doesn't deserve to be CEO.
We talked about Cartoon Network, becoming like, being canceled out of Max. Now we're seeing Looney Tunes getting canceled out of Max. Like, that's absolutely ridiculous.
Like I said, it's the biggest betrayal that David Zaslav has brought upon the company because it's the freaking Looney Tunes, all right? Like, the Looney Tunes are to Warner Bros. What Mickey Mouse, Donald, and Goofy are to Disney. They are the poster child.
And look, they're not taking away the mouse in Disney. They're not taking away the sponge in Nickelodeon.
Yeah. See, like, for all the faults Nickelodeon and Disney have on their own, they at least treat their poster children, better than Warner Bros. Is doing.
Yeah, Warner Bros. Is doing like shit. Same with them treating Cartoon Network like shit also. I mean, like, look, every like well-known big-time corporation always has their iconic like character, and taking away Bugs Bunny for Warner Brothers is kind of like saying you're taking away SpongeBob out of Nickelodeon or something, and then who knows? It's kind of like what? Yeah, I'm just saying, try to put a comparison here.
Exactly. Like, it's in a way, it's pretty much studio suicide. It's pretty much it's studio suicide because you're killing your company. You're killing your company by doing this.
I just don't know now what WB is going to be doing, but without the Looney Tunes, I feel like it's going to be set up for failure now. And I don't know. I mean, I'm only there just watching HBO shows. Maybe HBO might be the flagship of Max, but I'm just saying, like, without the Looney Tunes, that's just like an iconic series, just like breaking my heart right here.
It really is, because we grew up with the Looney Tunes. We grew up with their many cartoons, old and new. So this really does break our hearts that the Looney Tunes are being treated like this.
Yeah. So at the moment right now, Warner Brothers Discovery just pretty much like got rid of all of the got rid of most of the Looney Tunes, including those shorts. So if you're trying to look back at the old 50s, 40s, 60s, like, was it Looney Tunes cartoons? Good luck with that.
Yeah.
You're better off just buying a DVD of it instead of actually going on Max.
Yeah, honestly, the only way that you can even watch the old classic Looney Tunes anymore is if you buy physical media or if you buy it off of Prime Video or YouTube. But I would say that for collection's sake, physical media is the way to go.
Well, if any, again, We can't watch the Looney Tunes anymore on Max, which is kind of a sad day.
And honestly, hearing this news makes me wonder what's going to happen to the Looney Tunes projects that are currently on Max right now, because I have a feeling they might be the same fate soon.
I'm really hoping not. Like, it does stink right now that all of those, like, Looney Tunes franchises, the Looney Tunes cartoons that are currently in Max are about to, like, probably get the axe too. I'm just saying, like, this is the only, like, last, like, resort for all the Looney Tunes stuff. And it would stink if, that goes away and Looney Tunes is pretty much eradicated from Warner Brothers.
There might be no Looney Tunes projects at all on Max with the direction they're taking, because if the classic Looney Tunes cartoons that we know and love are gone, then the current Looney Tunes projects might be gone as well.
Yeah, I'm really hoping not. Just putting it out there. I'm really hoping not.
Like they're currently,
Yeah, if anything, I can't win again. We can't do much about it. All I can say is please support anything Looney Tunes at the moment. That's why I'm saying go watch The Day the Earth Blew Up, because who knows if they can flip the script and maybe we can see Looney Tunes back again on streaming or whatever it is.
That's one thing we can do. While we can't do anything else, I feel like watching Day the Earth Blew Up is one thing we can do.
Yeah. All right. Anything else I want to bring up, because like I pretty much like exhausted myself out of this.
Yeah, nothing much I want to say except David Zaslav made a great mistake.
David Zaslav is just continuing to be a bad CEO.
Yeah.
Take him out. I don't know what organizers from the Warner Bros. Discovery folks, please take him out. I don't know. Do something. Take him out of the CEO position.
Like, I don't care if they're in critical depth. This is not acceptable.
Exactly. Not acceptable.
Yeah.
God damn it. Goodbye, Looney Tunes from Max. This sucks. All right, well, let's go quickly on to what happened also this weekend, which is the Children and Family Emmy Awards. So we're not really going to go through like everything, but we're going to be discussing on what happened during that weekend for the Children and Family Emmys. March 15th, Eric Bauza, the voice of Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, hosted the Children and Family Emmys, and there were some iconic winners we want to congratulate. So overall, how did you like the whole show? How did you like the winners and all that?
I didn't watch the whole show. I watched bits and pieces there, and yeah, Eric Bauza did deliver as a host.
Yeah, I have to like look back at all the videos and stuff, because I know there were like YouTube videos of like how they won and stuff. But I want to give some iconic, like we want to give some recognition to a couple of shows that ended up doing really well in the Children Family Emmy Awards last weekend. And the first one we want to bring up is Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, that won 3 awards. And I know that this is probably the last time they're going to win awards, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because the show just ended, unfortunately.
But thankfully, there's some Moon Girl magic in the Family Emmys.
So they ended up winning Outstanding Children or Young Teen Animated Series, which is kind of like given. Congratulations to Moon Girl Dinosaur for that. Outstanding Directing for an Animated Series for the episode The Molecular Level, which is great. And then, of course, Outstanding Writing for a Children or Young Teen Animated Series for the episode Dancing with Myself.
This really does show that Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, it was definitely, such a travesty. It's really sad that Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur is ending, because it's such an iconic show, an award-winning show.
Have you at least watched all of the show yet?
I haven't watched, I haven't watched all of season 2, but I've seen most of it.
I gotta say this. They did end it really well. It gives me a possible future of what Moon Girl is going to be about. But I have a feeling the way they ended it the end of the show is a good way to end it. So
yeah, like in terms of Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, for me, while I haven't watched the newest episodes, I do strive too soon when I do have the time. Like hopefully, sometime this week. But yeah, Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, from what I've seen, is so iconic. It goes back to what I was saying about Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur. I feel got really screwed over by getting 2 seasons instead of 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Because there's so much to explore with Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, from the heroes to the villains to the universes. And yeah, there's so much to explore. And plus, when it wins 3 awards, when it's an award-winning show, you got yourself a gem.
Good to know.
Like, and then this, like I said, this is a sign that, Disney TVA has really kind of like, dropped the ball with airing just 2 seasons.
Dude, just forget it, dude. It already ended. It ended perfectly, I would say. Like, you can't really do much about it.
You can't do much about it, but then you gotta wonder, like, how much potential season 3 and 4 would have.
No, I can't spoil it, but if they went to season 3, I think it might have done a bad job.
Yeah?
I think it would have done a bad job.
Like, it would have ended up...
To be fair, no. If they were gonna do a season 3 of Moon Girl, it would be a movie instead.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
All right, so you've seen it, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, it would better be a movie instead. I'm just saying it out there, okay? Next up, we also want to give a congratulations to Monsters at Work that won one award for outstanding voice directing for an animated series, which, you know, it makes sense. You did bring back what was it?
Billy Crystal and John Goodman.
Yeah, we put both of them from Mike and Sully, plus a couple of other new characters that are also in it as well.
Yeah, and it's not just Billy Crystal and John Goodman that really delivered on the voice acting. Even the ones that voiced the new characters for the series really did deliver. So I feel like this was well-deserved.
Mm-hmm. Once Upon a Studio, the Disney short that came in theaters, did win one award for Outstanding Short for an Animated Program. It kind of stinks because they never got nominated for an Oscar at all.
They never got nominated for an Oscar, but I feel like this somewhat makes up for it because this was the Disney 100 tribute that Wish could have been.
God, Disney 100, man. I mean, it was great that they did it, but I'm like, wait, 1 year later they win this? I don't find it weird.
Better late than never, but yeah, you could have won the Oscar. It didn't even get nominated.
Well, I mean, for it to win the Children and Family Emmys 1 year later, I'm like, that's kind of weird timing, honestly.
It's weird timing, but I'm glad it won something because this was beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
We got
it's iconic just because like all of the animated like movies all were all together working into making a big picture and all.
Yeah, and the way that the Disney characters crossed over and interacted with each other felt so natural. It felt so iconic. Like that, it's the way that the characters would interact with each other.
Mm-hmm. Orion in the Dark won Outstanding Animated Special. What is that actually?
Orion in the Dark is this animated movie that's on Netflix. Though I'm kind of surprised that it's for animated special because it feels like a movie than anything else.
How long was the movie?
I haven't gone to look at Orion in the Dark, but it was advertised.
If it was less than an hour, then it makes a special.
I'd have to look at the runtime. I haven't seen Orion in the Dark, but I'd have to, do research and look at it. But if it's less than an hour, then I guess it would make sense. But the way they advertise Orion in the Dark, they advertise it as a movie.
Okay, that's interesting.
It's interesting.
I don't know. Okay, I don't know. Orion in the Dark ended up getting that. Blue's Clues and You won Outstanding Preschool Series, so congrats to Nickelodeon for that.
Congrats to Blue's Clues and You, and especially they pull off a big upset because Sesame Street was also nominated for that category.
Oh, interesting. I thought Sesame Street would actually win that one then.
I thought so too because Sesame Street is the household, the number one preschool show.
Well, it has been on since the 80s, so...
It's been on
since the 70s, actually.
It's been on since, before that, like 60s or 70s, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, they've been the number one preschool show for decades. And to see Blue's Clues and You pull off a giant upset over Sesame Street is quite impressive.
It's good for them. Now, what was funny is that the host even won an award, too, for the Emmys. So Eric Bauza actually won the Emmy for voicing Bugs and Daffy, by the way.
Nice.
And it's weird that it's not from Looney Tunes. It's actually from the Teen Titans 100th Warner Brothers Anniversary Special.
Yeah, when I looked at the winners, when I saw Eric Bauza winning for the voice actor of Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, yes, this is an ultimate win, let's go. But then on the other hand, I come to find out it's not from a Looney Tunes project, but it's from a Teen Titans Go project. It is weird.
Yeah, I find it weird about that.
Then again, it is titled here. It says here that is for the 100th Warner Bros. Anniversary Special.
Well, but didn't that episode actually have a lot of like Warner Brothers icons that made it to that episode?
I haven't seen the special. So
I think so. Something tells me there was a lot of other like characters besides the Teen Titans that were actually in this.
I haven't seen this, so I'm wondering how big of a role did Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck play in the special? I guess
probably
I have to
small.
See to find out.
Probably something small. I'm honestly saying, but to be fair, Eric Bauza did a great job being Bugs and Daffy.
He's always iconic.
He's the iconic Bugs and Daffy now, like the new generation Bugs and Daffy. He ain't no Mel Blanc, but he does really pull it off.
He's the modern Mel Blanc. You could be argued that he's today's Mel Blanc.
Mm-hmm. That's true. But here's the thing: like you're thinking, like Moon Girl Devil's Dinosaur may have won the most awards, but it turns out one show in particular won so many that night, and that goes to Percy Jackson and the Olympians. So that one ended up winning 8 Emmy Awards, including Best Outstanding Young Teen Series, Outstanding Writing in a Young Teen Series, Outstanding Directing for a Single Camera Live Action Series, Outstanding Show Opener, Outstanding Editing for a Single Camera Live Action Program, Outstanding Visual Effects, Outstanding Casting, Outstanding Musical Direction, and Composure for a Live Action Program. That's a lot for Percy Jackson and Olympians.
Arguably the most wins out of the entire Emmy ceremony. Like Percy Jackson came as the biggest winner.
It definitely was the biggest winner, and it got up a lot of big stuff for them. So now it tells me like maybe I have to watch Percy Jackson. I know that's on Disney Plus. So
Yeah, Percy Jackson, this is a huge win, not just for Disney, but also for fans of the show and also the book series, because as you may all know, Percy Jackson, this show, is based on the popular book series. So this is a huge victory to those that have read the books.
Now, obviously, we're the Animation Network, Anination Podcast. We always talk about animation. Obviously, the biggest winner for us is Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur winning the Outstanding Children or Young Teen Animated Series. Do you think it's well-deserved?
100% deserved. And Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur definitely did win, and it's a sign that Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur turned out to be one of the best Disney Channel shows.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think definitely was one of the best Disney Channel shows. I forgot who the other winners are, but other ones who were nominated, but I do think that Moon Girl deserved it. Mm-hmm. Besides that, any other surprises that came out from the Children's and Emmy Awards?
Oh, it goes back to what I was saying about Blue's Clues and You being the biggest, pulling out the biggest surprise win against Sesame Street, because, now, I've seen Blue's Clues, a bit of Blue's Clues and You. It's quite a charming show, and Josh does a superb job as the new Blue's Clues host. But I didn't expect it to beat, Sesame Street, which is a much bigger show. It's really quite an impressive feat.
Yeah. I wanted to actually see the winners, to be fair. So let me just go there for a second. Because there we go. There was actually a document. It was actually a full document about it. So yeah. Okay, so I can't really get the nominees either, but here we go. Nominees press release. Frick, this is long. Blue's Clues and You, Donkey Hoodie, Lovely Little Farm, Sesame Street. You're right, Sesame Street was nominated for that.
I feel like these are the winners I want to talk about the most.
Yeah, of course.
Those are the ones that stood out.
What about One Piece? They did win something, right?
One Piece won for like the best song.
Yeah, I mean that's something to bring up as well.
That is something to bring up, but yeah, like we're fans of the live action One Piece. So
sorry,
but
So Outstanding Children Young Animated Series. The other nominees were Curses, Hilda,
yes,
that one Netflix show that everybody likes too, Iwaju, and Kif. So Kif versus Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, but it kind of was obvious like Moon Girl was the winner on that one.
Yeah, it goes to show it's a clash, a battle between two Disney shows. Mm-hmm. And ultimately, Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur came out as the winner as opposed to Kif. I do feel a bit bad for Kif, because I enjoy Kif as well. Mm-hmm. But Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur had more adventure to it.
I think, if anything, Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur definitely had an amazing series run. It's kind of sad that we will not be seeing the show anymore, or moving further, continuing on. But if anything, it did do a really good job winning these Emmy Awards, and if anything, that recognition is there on Disney TVA. So congrats to all the winners who won the Children and Family Emmys that past weekend. But yeah, I think all of them got well-deserved.
Yeah, congrats to each and every single one of them.
All right. Oh, all right. Now, without further ado, I know that we're going straight to our special segment right now, and I know that all of you guys have been voting on our Twitters, on our Instagrams, and our YouTube posts. But it's time for us to actually finally reveal the 2025 best cartoon bracket.
Yes. Now, I'm about to be surprised as much as y'all are, so...
All right. I want to... Okay, so...
Because I don't know the bracket either, so...
So I need to bring this little bad boy out here. Because this is our little presentation that I can't wait to show you all. Yeah, that's perfect. Slideshow, please. All right. So, this is our bracket. This is our little presentation, our 2025 Animation Podcast Best Cartoon Tournament.
Yes, and I can't wait to see which one ranks.
So, I did also notice that a lot of people have not been voting on our Instagrams, Twitter, but we have noticed a lot of people have been voting on our YouTube posts. So, thank you all for voting, and you're the people that have carried most of the winners here tonight. We've had 37 cartoons being a part of this, and now we now have 16 that are going to be in this tournament.
Yeah, so let's give a warm welcome to the 16 that were lucky to be in the bracket.
Yeah, so let me see how I can skip. Can I skip by pressing it? Oh, here we go. So, just a heads up, every category that won, every conference or whatever region, every division actually ended up having two winners that made it to the tournament.
Yeah, so it's a matter of time. Like, I like this because it's equal shares amongst each division.
We have two winners in we have two Nickelodeon winners, two Cartoon Network winners, two Adult Swim winners, two Disney Channel winners, two Disney Plus winners, two Netflix winners, Prime Video and YouTube, and Marvel and DC.
Two each. 2 each. I like how it's equally divided.
Yeah. So to say the least, I think like we kind of had a fair fight in this one.
I think so. And you know what? It makes sense as to why we got more numbers on YouTube than Instagram or X, because YouTube is our main platform.
Honestly, to be fair, like I think the most votes that we ended up getting for this year's like the inauguration of this tournament was on Nickelodeon, because I never expected a big influx of Nickelodeon voters though. So
well, yeah, because they still know us as the Loud Casa Talks, and Loud House does come from Nickelodeon. So
yeah, I understand, but
our fan base is made up of Nickelodeon.
And I know we didn't put Loud House or SpongeBob on this, but I mean, I want to be fair to actually have other cartoons try to be for the best cartoon 2024.
Yeah. So if we put Loud House there, even though it had a season that premiered 2024, it would have an unfair advantage.
Yeah, I feel like, well, because most of you are still following us for Loud Casa Talks, honestly. So without further ado, let's actually go ahead and reveal the bracket. Ready for the big reveal, everybody?
I'm ready as much as the audience is.
All right. So I actually need to go back to my slides here and actually see that again, because I have the slides also. All right. So we're going to go based on matchups. So let's actually start off with the overall number 1 seed, the show that ended up getting the most votes overall from everybody who voted. And that one goes to the Fairly Odd Parents and You Wish, getting number 1.
While I expected Arcane, I'm still happy for this as well.
I'm surprised. I thought you would actually be shocked. You would be surprised about that.
Yeah, because Fairly Odd Parents and You Wish, I love a whole lot. You know I'm a huge fan of it. But Arcane, when I think of top tier cartoon, Arcane is the first thing that comes to mind. But I'm happy that You Wish got the number 1 seed.
So it got the number 1 seed because it ended up getting like 70 votes, the most out of everybody. Yes. And I was so shocked seeing the Fairly Odd Parents being supported in this one.
It shows how this new Fairly Odd Parents, and rightfully so, it rightfully got the amount of love and dedication amongst the Nickelodeon fan base and cartoon fan base. I myself being one of them.
So yeah, I'm surprised. I thought you would be like very shocked and like surprised that Fairly Odd Parents are the number 1 seed.
I mean,
why were you thinking Arcane would really be the number 1 seed?
I thought Arcane would be the number 1 seed, yes, because Arcane is not just one of the greatest animated shows of all time; it's one of the greatest shows. Period. I would say possibly the best Netflix show I've seen because of how epic and powerful it is.
I see.
But Fairly Odd Parents and You Wish, though, on its own right, is awesome as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be number 1, I feel like the people from Nickelodeon just started voting for it. And, it was one of the best cartoons in 2024. So congrats to Fairly Odd Parents making it. That's the number 1 overall.
Like, I expected Fairly Odd Parents You Wish to be top 3. I was expected to be in the top 3 seeds.
Well, it was in the top 3, but it expected to be number 1 overall.
Yeah, I kind of expected to be 2 or 3. But you know what? Since I'm a fan of the show, I'm going to say congrats to it. Yeah. I'm happy for it.
Well, in the first round matchup, it will face off with the number 16 seed, Monsters at Work.
Now, Monsters at Work, while it is a decent show, I'm gonna be honest. This is as far as it goes because Fairly Odd Parents You Wish is gonna knock this.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna go any farther. Shout outs to Monsters at Work to actually make it into the bracket. So congrats to Monsters at Work for being there. But when you face off against Fairly Odd Parents, I have a feeling that Fairly Odd Parents won that one.
It was lucky to be in the bracket because Monsters at Work, I feel like when it comes to facing off against Dream Productions and Bad Batch, I felt like Monsters at Work had the least bit of chance.
But it made it through.
It still made it through.
So you're thinking, well, you said Dream Productions and Bad Batch. We didn't announce them yet, by the way. And we did say only 2 shows did make it through the Disney Plus range. So
it's only a matter of what's the second show.
Yeah, what is the second show from Disney Plus? Is it Dream Productions? Is it Bad Batch?
Could be Dream Productions, but that's what I'm predicting right now.
Okay. So the 1/16 matchup has been set. It'll be the Fairly Odd Parents and You Wish versus Monsters at Work. The winner of that will face off the winner of the 8 and 9 seed matchup. So let's reveal the 8 seed for you. And that is Primos is number 8. Primos is number 8, everybody.
Really? So despite the controversies it's gotten, despite all the backlash, Primos somehow manages to make it out okay in the end.
It made out okay, and I loved it. By the way, those of you on Twitter, YouTube, wherever you guys were at, you supported Primos. I think the support of the big love of Primos showed up in this tournament, so it made it to the tournament. It is number 8 I actually like that seating so far.
I expected to be ranked amongst the top 8. I thought that if it would make it to the tournament, it would at least be somewhere in the 12th or 13th seed at best.
No, I was thinking something high, but I mean, if anything, I just wished it was in the tournament, and thankfully it was in the tournament, so awesome. You guys voted really well. Primos is number 8, which is great.
Yeah, Primos, I'm impressed by Primos and how it manages to be in the number 8 seed. That's a huge feat for them.
And then it will face off against the number 9 seed, and that is Smiling Friends. Ooh.
Primos above Smiling Friends? I don't think so.
You don't think so? I don't know. I mean, the Primos fans are probably going to be rallying up now just because of that.
No, Primos is decent. Primos is decent at best, but Smiling Friends is iconic. Like, they are the new face of Adult Swim. And it's funny from beginning to end. There's this commentary in each episode. Yeah, no, Primos cannot compare to Smiling Friends.
Yeah, I don't think... Well, I don't know. It's going to be a little bit of a toss-up for me, but I kind of really was pushing for Primos to get it. You know, it's going to be weird saying Fairly Odd Parents versus Primos in the next round, if anything.
If Fairly Odd Parents face up against Primos, I'm going to say this guy, bring it.
I want Primos, man. I mean, it's been hype. It's been good so far. I'm just saying, Primos, great job making number 8. This is going to be a great matchup to watch at the end, so yeah.
Really? Primos over Smiling Friends? How is it rank above... Okay. See,
Smiling Friends is great. Smiling Friends is great, but like, I don't know. Primos might hop on. I don't know. It's going to be a tough one, but I mean, the Smiling Friends crew might probably come in and start voting for it. I mean, upset in the making, looks like it, so.
I never worked this hard. This is in the top 5, because this is top 5 material.
Okay, well, we'll see how it is. We can't see about the fans and everything, but yes, 8 and 9 has been set. It is Primos versus Smiling Friends in the first round.
Yeah.
All right, let's get over to the number 4 and 13 seed. So let's reveal the number 4 seed for you, and that is... come on. Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur. That is so number 4 overall.
Okay, that makes sense. Like, I actually support this. I support this. Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur, number 4, top 5, I'm good with. Because it goes back to what I was saying about this being an iconic show in our previous...
Yeah, we just talked about it like over in Children and Family Emmys.
There's not much I could say, except I said all I need to say about it.
Okay, to say the least, I think it deserves its spot at number 4, but then you're looking at like who's number 3, who's number 2. Like,
who is number 3 and who's number 2?
Yeah, you're kind of like wondering who is going to be there. Remember, we also do have YouTube. We have a lot of Prime and YouTube things. I mean, Digital Circus, who knows, Has-Been Hotel. Like, there's a lot of like names. Arcane is still up in the air right now.
Arcane and Has-Been Hotel, I'm predicted to be numbers 2 and 3. I'm not going to say specifically which exact spot. All I know is that Has-Been Hotel and Arcane should be the top 3.
Well, we'll see about that. I mean, again, we're going to see some big surprises out of this, by the way. All right? But now, number 4 is Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur. It will face off against the number 13 seed, Dream Productions.
Okay, Dream Productions. Okay, this is going to be a battle amongst Disney where you got Disney TVA fans versus the
Disney
Pixar
Plus
fans.
Yeah, Pixar fans.
I'm just
saying out there, Inside Out fans are probably going to be voting for Dream Productions because, like, well, then again, Moon Girl Dinosaur was very more iconic, and I feel like it's still going to win over Dream Productions.
Yeah, but then there's that Pixar fan base, especially, they look highly among the Inside Out films, so they're going to band together and vote for this. So it could be a huge battle between them. You never know what's going to dominate which.
Yeah, I have a feeling it's still going to go for Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah,
fair.
Because that fan base is dedicated as well. It all comes down to how dedicated each fan base is.
Indeed, yeah. All right, so that is the 4 and 13 matchup. You'll be voting for that later on this week. So just a heads up there. Yeah. Let's head over to the number 5 seed. Because the number 4 13 seed will face off against the number 5 12 seed. And the number 5 seed that we had, based on your votes, that goes to... come on, go faster here.
Come on, don't pull Internet Explorer on us.
Did they really go Internet Explorer? There we go. Craig of the Creek as the number 5 seed.
Craig of the Creek. Okay, Craig of the Creek being the top 5, I was somewhat surprised by.
Were you thinking that it actually would be like, what, top 10? Because I have a feeling like, because of how great the ending was for Craig of the Creek, that all the Craig of the Creek fans are going to be coming over and say, hey, we'll vote for Craig of the Creek to be in it.
I'm nothing against Craig of the Creek at all. And, you know, Craig of the Creek is a charming show, and I do see that by the timing of it, it does make sense for it to be in the top 5. I would imagine it being like number 6 or 7, if anything.
Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be one of those top seeds, but number 5, I mean, it did get up a lot of votes for the Cartoon Network side. It was the top vote. It was the top voted cartoon in the Cartoon Network side. So
I guess it's a way to show love to Craig of the Creek just after it finished. So
yeah. So I mean, if anything, Craig of the Creek definitely deserves its number 5 spot, so it's great. It'll be facing off against the number 12 seed, which is also in the same division, by the way. And that goes to Total Drama Island. Made it to the top 16. How surprised are you about that?
The Total Drama Island reboot, I'm gonna say, like, the thing is, I found the Total Drama Island reboot to be very mediocre, so there was a part of me that was expecting it to kind of lose, so... But
versus Tiny Toons University. Tiny Toons University actually ended up being the one that ended up getting the least votes, which I find surprising. Because Total Drama 2024 wasn't as big compared to like the first Total Drama we've seen. So
not nearly. And there's also the fact of how the Tiny Toons have been a popular brand since the 90s. So
yeah, somehow that still didn't end up actually making them into the tournament for some reason.
And they're tied to the Looney Tunes as well, like Looniversity. So yeah, I was sort of expecting Tiny Toons to take the seed instead of Total Drama Reboot. But then again, I'm just like, it's not going to make it very far, but I do applaud it for making it somewhat. It got lucky.
Yeah, either way, I do have a feeling Craig of the Creek will probably win this one. So, and anyway, it's going to be fine because, like, who knows? It might be Total Drama's revenge. Maybe Total Drama fans might come in and start rallying and voting for it. But it's another Cartoon Network matchup that happened at the same thing. It's a preliminary round. So
Craig of the Creek's going to demolish it.
We'll see. All right, next up, we're going to have our number 2 seed revealed. Now, we did say number 1 was Fairly Odd Parents and You Wish. Number 2 is going to be something surprising for everybody to see, but let's go ahead and reveal it. The number 2 seed overall from this tournament is Gentry Child versus the Underworld. So I did not expect that at all. People, you have voted like everywhere on the Netflix side, and this was better than Arcane.
I'm sorry, I love Gentry, but no. Honestly, my jaw dropped when I saw this. I was like, what? I was thinking like the other Netflix show, Arcane, would be number 2. Like, it deserves it much better than Gentry. I love Gentry, but Arcane is an iconic masterpiece. It's a power hold.
It didn't even get top 2. So I'm just saying, Arcane
Are you serious?
fans.
if Arcane doesn't make it to top 3, I'm just gonna be like, okay, this is rigged.
It's not rigged. People just now are not voting. You are not rallying. So the thing is, like, I'm getting more Fairly Odd Parents votes. I'm getting more Gentry Chow votes. But the fact that it got number 2 is quite iconic, honestly. I'm just like, wow, okay, I'm guessing this is a pretty good show.
Oh, it is a good show. It is a good show. Don't get me wrong. It's just small compared to Arcane, but I am proud of Gentry Chow because I'm a fan of Gentry Chow, so congratulations, I guess. I would have preferred if you were a top 5, not top 2, but congratulations.
Gentry Chow still ended up winning. That is number 2 seed, getting the second most votes next to Fairly Odd Parents and You Wish. It'll take out the number 15 seed. Where's my mouse? The number 15 seed, X-Men 97. Oh, speaking of which, I just went up a little bit.
But yeah, X-Men 97, I didn't expect it to be this low because X-Men 97 is popular amongst Marvel fans and those that subscribe to Disney+. I remember seeing all the hype revolving around X-Men 97, how it's a return to form, about how it's an amazing show. I've heard all the hype about it, so I was surprised that it was below number 10.
Yeah, I don't know. A lot of fans were not really voting on Disney+, to be fair, or Marvel and DC, which I thought was very weird. So I don't know. Like, Gentry Chow versus X-Men, ooh, that's a tough one, honestly. But I have a feeling Gentry Chow might take over.
Gentry Chow might take over if the Marvel fan base doesn't take over and support X-Men 97. It all comes down to
I don't know. I mean, we're just a small little podcast, but we've been seeing a lot of votes come in. Gentry Chow still surprised all of me. I was the one who organized this thing, and I was like, really? She got second?
Yeah, Gentry Chow is great, but it's not top 2 great.
Well, either way, we still had that. So next up, we do have our number 7 seed to reveal. So based off your votes, number 7 seed of the tournament goes to the Amazing Digital Circus.
Number 7, Amazing Digital Circus. I'm not surprised it made top 10 because Amazing Digital Circus is that popular, especially amongst indie animation fans.
Yeah, because, well, to be fair, like, it's a great animated show, and it's been getting the fan bases here and there. It's been so popular as a web animated series, so it made sense. It made top 10. It did get a high seed ranking, thankfully, but like I felt like it should have gone higher because of knowing how popular that show was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Amazing Digital Circus was a iconic, indie animation household. It was popular the moment the first episode was released in the Glitch Productions YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm. So yes, if anything, Digital Circus I think deserves its well praises as a number 7 seed. It will face off against the number 10 seed. And that goes to Batman Cape Crusader.
Batman. I'm surprised that Batman Cape Crusader was ranked above X-Men 97. This is coming from someone who's a huge Batman
I'm surprised about that too. Apparently, it was better than X-Men 97.
This is coming from someone who's a big Batman fan, like huge Batman fan. Like Batman Cape Crusader being ranked above X-Men 97 is quite an upset in and of itself.
I mean, to be fair, X-Men 97 did have a lot of praise. It was kind of great to actually have those two be in the tournament, but unfortunately, very low seeding because Batman is number 10 and 15 was X-Men. Yeah. So something tells me like Digital Circus is definitely going to beat out Batman, unfortunately, and Jetri Chow looks to be beating out X-Men in this case.
Yeah, like you got Batman facing off. It's so ironic. What's the most ironic thing about the matchup is that it's Batman. You know how he faces off against the Clown, which is the Joker. It's Batman facing off against the Jesper, which is Pomni. So I'm thinking, was it with Batman facing off against circus characters? Right?
I don't know. I'm guessing there's so much iconic clowns that Batman at least to go through. But I mean, my money goes to the Amazing Digital Circus. It feels like that's the case there.
Oh, Amazing Digital Circus is going to dominate it. It's a sleep win.
The next one here is going to shock everybody. I would imagine it's going to shock everybody because when I did the whole matchup stuff, I didn't expect these two to face off in the first round. But let's go to the number 3 seed. You've all voted for this. The number 3 seed, where's my mouse? Number 3 seed is, come on now, Arcane, League of Legends.
Okay, it's in the top 3 at least. So, you know what? I'll accept this.
Yes.
Like I said before, I was surprised that Arcane wasn't number 1.
I really think it was number 1, but so many people voted for Fairly Odd Parents more. But you know what? All the votes all counted, and it was Arcane that got number 3. So I'm pretty happy about it. I think it's the wild horse to win everything. But it all depends on the voters. People have to vote. That's the thing.
Yeah. Now, I would say that, I still predict that Arcane is going to win it all, but given at how much competition this show has, I have a feeling it's not going to be easy going into the semifinals at least.
Well, I did say this is going to be a big matchup for Arcane because the opponent that they're facing off is someone that I didn't expect at all to actually make it this low. But number 14 is Hazbin Hotel. That is very low for freaking Hazbin Hotel.
Are you kidding me? What?
Oh.
You mean to tell me that not Hello Boss. Hello Boss, I would somewhat understand being number 14, but Hazbin Hotel? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Why?
I mean,
Why?
I didn't know about this. Everybody was voting more Digital Circus than Hazbin Hotel, but this is a big matchup. It's Arcane versus Hazbin Hotel in the first round. Ooh.
I'm sort of
you're talking about one of the biggest matchups of the first round, and this is it. Arcane versus Hazbin Hotel.
I'm conflicted. See, I'm conflicted right now because I'm a huge fan of both these shows. Arcane is a masterpiece, but on the other hand, I have this Hazbin Hotel hyperfixation, so I don't know what to vote for. This is tough for me. It's like choosing between your kids.
I don't know, man. I mean, this is the biggest matchup I think we'll ever see, but I know we're bringing up 2 big fandoms facing off in the first round. I did not expect this, honestly. You have big League of Legends fans, you have big Hazbin Hotel fans, so...
See, this is where the League of Legends fan base will go to war with the Helvaverse fan base. It's an all-out war.
Oh, man, I just really hope... I don't know whoever wins out of this one, but whoever wins out of this will be having an iconic victory.
Yeah.
I mean, you're going to have a tough decision making this one.
I'm going to have a tough decision on what to vote for because it's like, which one do I pick?
Arcade versus Hazbin Hotel. I didn't expect it to be that low, honestly, but people were voting for Digital Circus more than Hazbin.
Yeah, I was pretty surprised because Digital Circus is popular, but Hazbin Hotel is a bit more popular than Digital.
Yeah, it doesn't make it no sense.
How's Hazbin Hotel number 14? Explain this to me.
I don't know. Y'all didn't vote Hazbin Hotel, you jerks. Goddamn, where's the Hellverse people?
Is the Hazbin Hotel fan base not as lively or as big as we thought it would be?
I don't know, but still. Either way, that's the matchup that we have in the first round. So this is going to be a tough one for all you fans of Arcane and Hazbin. Okay. So let's continue on with the number 6 seed overall. And this is a big surprise for you because I never expect this cartoon to actually go this high. But number 6 is Rock, Paper, Scissors from Nickelodeon.
Rock, Paper, Scissors at number 6? Wait, what?
Yes. Rock, Paper, Scissors number 6.
Really? That abstract new Nickelodeon cartoon that not many people talk about is number 6. Can someone explain this to me?
Yeah, I have no idea, but it did. Remember, I did say Nickelodeon had the most votes overall in the conference. And somehow, when I tallied up all the votes together, it did lead up to the number 6 most voted cartoon in our tournament.
Like, I understand the Nickelodeon fan base takes up a large majority of our fan base, but still, though, Rock, Paper, Scissors at number 6, I kind of find hard to believe.
I have a feeling like this doesn't deserve the number 6 seed, honestly. I think it should go lower, like 10 or 11.
It should have gone double-digit seed, yeah.
That's what I was thinking, too. I was thinking it would be probably there, but it made it to the tournament. It made it to a high seed, but it will face off against the number 11 seed, which is Invincible Fight Girl from Adult Swim.
Invincible Fight Girl, I'm going to say...
I think it'll win. Yeah, I have a feeling Invincible Fight Girl will probably win over.
If there's any kind of upset that's going to happen, Invincible Fight Girl over Rock, Paper, Scissors.
Yeah, so I just was shocked about it, but that is pretty much all of the cartoons for the tournament. So
no Max of the Midnights? No Max of the Midnights?
No Max of the Midnights, no.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, Max of the Midnights I found to be decent. I found to be relatively good, but not great. But still, though, I'm surprised Max didn't.
But that is your 16 cartoons that are going to make it into the tournament. Yeah. What big surprises came out for you?
The big surprise that came out for me is, of course, Arcane being number 3 and not number 1. Another big surprise is Hazbin Hotel being number 14. Seriously, how dare you all?
How dare you all? Exactly. I thought we talked about Hazbin Hotel, and somehow it ended up being 14 overall. It just was shocking to me when I did the whole tournament.
You know, the biggest surprise on what's not in the tournament is actually not Max of the Midnights. It's actually a different show, and that is Hell of a Boss.
Hell of a Boss really got the lowest out of the division, honestly.
Hell of a Boss, I feel, is just as popular, if not more so, than Hazbin Hotel. Like, yeah, that Hell of a Boss is a dedicated fan base.
It did have a dedicated fan base as well, but somehow Hazbin Hotel got more than Hell of a Boss, which, you know, I don't know about it. Maybe some folks say like Hell of a Boss wasn't as great compared to Hazbin, which honestly
I say Hazbin was better. But
yeah, you even say so too. But yeah, it didn't make it through the tournament also.
But even so, I'd say like Hell of a Boss, despite its flaws, is still a relatively great show on its own.
It does. Yeah, I mean, I agree with it too. But again, this is how the tournament all goes. Now, I do want to show you guys the shows that missed the point. Like if they only had like 1 or 2 more votes, they could have actually made it in. We call it the first 4 out. They do it also in the NCAA tournament, but the first 4 shows that were going to be out were Tales of the TMNT, My Adventure with Superman. They were so close to making it into the tournament. They just needed like 1 or 2 more votes to get themselves up there. But look, Tales of the TMNT, My Adventure with Superman, Tiny Toons University, those 3 had a chance to make it up to the tourney.
You know, and there's a good reason why it came close. Like, I'm surprised it didn't make it to the tournament at all, let alone 1 or 2 points. And that's because Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Superman are some of the most iconic figures of pop culture for decades.
And somehow they didn't make it in.
They somehow did make it in. So something tells me, are TMNT and Superman losing their popularity somewhat?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
Hazbin and Gretel and Invincible also rounded up the first 5 out. Like, again, if they needed only a couple more votes, they would have gotten in, but y'all didn't vote for them that much. So
yeah, and Hell of a Boss didn't even get this honor.
Didn't even get that honor either. Yeah, it didn't even get close, honestly.
So for all the Hell of a Verse fans that are complaining that Hell of a Boss got screwed over, hey, be grateful that at least Hazbin made it. It may have been a low seed, but at least made it.
That's the biggest point of it all. Like, Hazbin Hotel facing off against Arcane. Man, that's just the biggest trippy matchup that I've got right now. Which means it's time for us to actually talk about the tournament itself. So this is the whole entire tournament bracket. It all starts tomorrow with Fairly Odd Parents taking on Monsters at Work. And then it's going to be continuing on every day for the week. So make sure you guys follow us on our Twitter, on our Instagram, and on YouTube so that you guys can vote whenever the poll comes out.
Yeah, so keep your eyes peeled on the polls and go out there and vote because democracy rules.
So here's the thing. Out of all of the matchups you're seeing, which one are you going for to win the championship?
Honestly, out of all of them, can I pick like a couple? I have a couple of few. I'm not talking about just one that I want to root for. I'm talking about 3. Can I at least give you 3?
Like who? Who would that be?
Arcane, Fairly Odd Parents You Wish, and Hazbin Hotel.
How can you do with the Arcane Hazbin Hotel thing? You have to pick either one of them.
I get it, but either way, I know for a fact that hopefully at least one of them will win the tournament. So yeah, those are my 3 I want to win. How about you?
I have a feeling, oh god, if the Hazbin Hotel fans continue to go up, I feel like Hazbin will beat Arcane, and then it has a smooth sailing all the way to the semifinals, where they'll face off against Digital Circus, and that might be a tough matchup, honestly.
I think so too.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is just out of the blue. Like, who knows who will win? It all depends on how you guys vote. Again, we have our poll out there for you guys. It'll all start tomorrow at midnight. It will be, again, the first seed, number one. It'll start off with the number 116 seed matchup, Fit Out Parents Sponsors at Work. And it's going to continue on down the road. Just make sure you follow us on our Twitter, our Instagram, and our YouTube. If you haven't been following our YouTube, make sure you subscribe as well, so that you can be able to vote on the matchup, and you'll be the one to actually pick who the winner is going to be.
With Hazbin Hotel, it's going to have a rough start so far considering its opponent right now, but we'll have to wait and see with Hazbin Hotel.
I mean, oh man, again, this was tough for me to actually make this whole tournament stuff, but this was insane, right? Oh man, that was something, huh?
I know. I can't wait for this tournament. I can't wait to get on and vote. I can't wait to make these polls so you guys get on and vote. So yeah, get on and vote.
Yeah, so that's pretty much that's pretty much was it. That was it pretty much.
Yeah, so this is quite an engaging tournament. We got all these, awesome selections for the most part. We feel bad for those that didn't get entered in, but we do wish the best of luck for each of these shows.
Yeah. So let the madness begin this Monday. Let the madness begin tomorrow. So just make sure you guys follow us on our socials so you guys can vote.
Tomorrow will be the day of the bracket. Yes.
Let the March Madness begin. All right, so let's head over to our main subject and actually talk about the animation changes. Like, you've seen this a lot everywhere. Like, movies continue to change their animation for the better. Like, I just remember watching Spider-Verse and seeing how everything changed for the second movie, how everything got so much better in the second movie.
Oh, yeah. Across the Spider-Verse, they enhanced what made the animation great about Into the Spider-Verse, and they increased it tenfold.
And then same goes to Puss in Boots. Remember, Puss in Boots was just a regular CGI version of the cat, but then when you went to The Last Wish, it just went to a different kind of animation style that looked so much better. And I felt that was the reason why I ended up getting like so much like awards and so much like praise.
Oh yeah, Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, Puss in Boots, and all the other characters look better than they ever did before, and it's helped by the stylized animation.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know, it's a different kind of animation because it kind of felt 2D-ish, honestly, but it's not. It's like CGI with animation. I don't know how to explain it.
It's a blend of 3D animation with some 2D aspects in it. Mm-hmm. It's a mixture of both. And the Spider-Verse movies take that same approach as well.
Yeah, so if anything, like, if you've been looking at like how animation changes have been, it just tells you like it may have gotten for the better, as we said for those two examples. Although to be fair, sometimes whenever it comes to animation changes, it may not be that way that we talked about, because we're going to talk about what everybody's been talking about recently when it comes to the recent movies. A certain trailer did come out recently that made us think like in 2026 this movie is going to be good because we have missed this movie for so long. But from its first video, we were thinking because of this whole animation change, you're thinking, okay, well, there's a lot of big differences between whatever happened to Shrek in the last movie compared to this Shrek 5 version of Shrek.
Yeah, so when I looked at this Shrek 5 trailer, I was thinking they look different than they did in the previous 4 Shrek movies. And to be honest, I'm sort of mixed about that.
I think everybody was mixed.
I'm not going to say, they did it for the better. I'm not going to say they did it for the worse. I'm going to say they did it different. Because on one hand, I feel like, okay, on the positive aspects of this, I feel like they put more details into the facial features of the Shrek characters, including the expressive eyes, the mouth, and the more wrinkles.
So the one thing that comes to mind is this has been forever since we worked with CGI on Shrek. And now we're just doing the same thing like we did with Puss in Boots, for example, where in Puss in Boots, where we changed up Puss from what being a real life cat looked like into like an animated cat. And it still worked out in the end,
Yeah, and if Shrek 5 had changed its animation style to what it was in Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, I feel like that I would have been all on for it. Not just because I felt like it would have been much better for sure, but it would have stayed consistent with the Puss in Boots Last Wish movie.
So I don't understand like DreamWorks' move in actually like changing up the CGI of Shrek into what this is now, because like I don't know how the animation style is for the new Shrek. Is it CGI as well, but they just wanted to remake him at all, or?
from what we've seen, it's only the teaser, but
well, I mean, it is the teaser, but like it just gives you a glimpse of what the characters are gonna look like for the 2026 movie.
Yeah, it gives you a glimpse, and it's something about it just feels off because this is, I feel like, with the way they're approaching Shrek is that they're giving it the new sort of illumination makeup in terms of the character facial features.
Well, here's the thing, like, look, if you want to see the new Shrek movie, did you want to see the old version of Shrek, like what you see in the left here?
If they had stuck with the old version of Shrek, if they had stuck with how Shrek was back in the day, I would have been all up for it too. I honestly would have been up for seeing that because, well, that Shrek was part of my childhood, so I would have been on board with this. But since we're talking about Shrek in terms of how he looks, we're not going into the story or characters.
No, we're not going into the story. I'm just saying like how he looks because, yes, I mean, for real, like there's definitely a big change because it just feels like he looked more silly. Like, honestly, he looked more silly when you saw the Shrek 5 trailer.
Yeah, I'm going to say it all really depends on how they're going to execute the Shrek 5 movie itself. Is the animation going to help complement the Shrek 5, or is it going to hinder it? It really all depends on how it's going to be executed in the full-length film.
Like, I understand that they really wanted a new Shrek movie, and there you go, but, like, if this is the way to start it off, this is the way to do it. Because, like, people are comparing the new Shrek to Sonic when they first came out.
No. Absolutely not. That's a bad comparison. I will not accept
it. Tell it to everybody who's doing it. They're just saying, like, oh my god, it's the same thing that happened to Sonic. Ooh.
No, I'm sorry, but that is not a fair comparison at all, because when you look at Sonic, the first trailer, the dude looks like a werewolf. Like, when you look at Sonic, when you look at Sonic, like the original design, he looks legit ugly, like blood, not acceptable. And that's because they tried to make Sonic more realistic in a live action setting, and the way they pulled off Sonic as that character just did not look appealing. It did not stay true to how the character
source material
is.
Yep.
And it didn't stay true to source material, and overall it left a bad taste in all our mouths. Thankfully, though, Jeff Fowler and Paramount did listen to the backlash and change it for the better.
And it did go for the better. Now, in that they have 4 movies coming out for Sonic. So
yeah, and it worked well with that. Constructive criticism is important.
Do you think this particular trailer is more of an experimental thing? Because look, they have a while till 2020 for the next movie to come out. Like, they have a year and like 3 months in order for Shrek 5 to come out.
Yeah, I'm going to say this right now. No amount of backlash is going to change the character design.
Do you think they will actually change the character design after all the controversy?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Interesting.
I don't think so, because I'm going to say this right now. The new Shrek design, I don't hate it. Like, I'm a bit, you know, I'm not used to this new design. It's going to be hard to get used to, but I'm not against it.
Yeah, I'm not against it either. It just tells me, like, this is the brand new way of, like, how animation goes for DreamWorks. Like, I'm assuming, like, when you look back at how Shrek was back in the 2010s, that their animation style was obviously 3D and stuff like that. Now, when you look back at, like, all of DreamWorks now, like, it's all been stylized. It has been made differently. I mean, you've seen the latest, like, movies they've done. Dogman, was it The Wild Robot, Puss in Boots?
Yeah.
They're not like the old Shrek, to be fair.
Yeah, they're not the old same CGI Shrek, but I feel like instead of giving out this new Shrek, the best way to approach Shrek, like I said, would have been if you gave it the Puss in Boots A New Wish treatment, because it takes place within the Shrek universe, so it would have stayed consistent.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. The other characters are also looking a little bit weird, too. Look at Donkey. Look at Pinocchio. Even the daughter.
Yeah, Donkey, like, when you look at Donkey...
I think Donkey look weirder, honestly.
And especially look at Donkey's front teeth. Like, oh my gosh, like, they give off such buck teeth, you know, kind of, you know, vibes. It's just, I didn't like that look at Donkey.
I know, and I mean, he's trying to look... He's not the same compared to, like, the Donkey, which is, like, what, smaller eyes and has that, you know, mouth and stuff.
He has a more natural smile.
And then you see, like, the new Donkey, he has bigger eyes, and he looks more, again, cartoonish, to say.
See, the old Donkey had a much more natural smile. He had a more natural character design to Donkey. Whereas this Donkey looks like a cartoon Donkey that you see in an old Looney Tunes or Mickey Mouse cartoon.
Right. Oh gosh, like very 3D stylized instead of like the 2D style that you saw in Looney Tunes. But I mean, I'm just saying it out there. Like I have a feeling like there could be changes for that particular trailer after all the controversy that went on. You've seen that over at this first Sonic movie. I don't know if they're gonna make any big changes compared to what we're seeing with this Shrek now, but if this is how it's going to look like, people have to cope with it, honestly, because I'm guessing this is how the new generation animation looks.
Yeah, and like I said before, no amount of backlash is going to change DreamWorks' mind. It's not going to change DreamWorks' direction in terms of the character design. So to all the people complaining, I'm sorry to say this, you gotta suck it up. You gotta suck it up and just accept it for what it is.
We'll see how it is, but I can't wait for the real trailer to come out. I know that's just a teaser for like 30 seconds, but
it's just a teaser, okay? Watch the full-fledged trailer, then you can
that'll
judge.
be coming out in like September or October because they're still working on that movie, dude.
And even at that, you can't really judge it based on the animation style alone. You gotta judge it based on the more important elements like story and characters. Those are the two things that will make or break the movie.
Let's see how it goes, because like apparently because of the whole style of Shrek, people are kind of getting turned off. But who knows what happens when the first trailer comes out in a couple of months?
Yeah. So needless to say, I can somewhat understand the animation community and Shrek community not being a fan of this, but give it time.
Now, I did talk about Puss in Boots. Like that's a movie that actually did go for the better, because like, do you like the old version of Puss in Boots where he was just like a CGI cat? I mean, it looked realistic, to be fair.
I didn't mind it so much because this was way back before stylized animation was even a thing. And by stylized animation being even a thing, I'm talking about not even before Spider-Verse, but before the Peanuts movie, because Peanuts movie was the first stylized movie, believe it or not. But in terms of Puss in Boots, this 2011 Puss in Boots, I didn't mind it so much. I thought it was all right, but that was because we were in an era in which all the animated movies released in theaters were CGI.
Yeah, and that kind of version of CGI, I remember that it was during the time of Shrek as well. Like, Shrek also was working on their movies too. I think it was their fourth movie that also came out during the same time period.
Yeah.
And Puss in Boots was having its own spin-off, and the way that they're trying to approach the animation was more of like, look, we have the same art style as Shrek from the old previous movie, so let's stick with that. Look how that went. And that was okay, mediocre of a movie. But then 10 plus years later, they decided to bring back Puss in Boots and a different kind of animation, and that turned out to be a hit. Like, a big hit for DreamWorks.
Not only were the story and characters far superior to the original, but the animation, of course, with its stylized animation, with the way that the colors would be vibrant.
Yeah, I really do like the colors more than the CGI version, because, like, it looks so...
It looks vibrant.
Yeah, I think it looks more, like, appealing when you look at over at Last Switch, for example.
And the action scenes and the choreography
that was absolutely intense. Especially when you see, like, the action, like, you like comic books, for example, when they start running in, you also get to see the lines on the sides and stuff like that. It tells you, like, this is a big, fast motion thing that's going on.
Like, every single scene, especially the fight scenes, Puss in Boots versus the, death, being a biggest example of that. Oh my gosh, like everything about these scenes scream expression. They're the most expressive.
Also, just like everybody who was in Puss in Boots, the first movie, looks so much better in second, because like you can see like the kitty, the other cat too. She also looked great in that other different style. Plus the other characters as well, like Perrito was great. The big evil guy was also looking good as well.
Goldilocks and the Three Bears were my favorite characters.
And the bears look great, by the way. So, I mean, like, I feel like this is the DreamWorks' way of saying, hey, we're going to go stick with this animation style, considering how great it was. And look, they did make the same art style for Wild Robot, and that turned out to be a hit. It got Oscar nominations and everything. Yeah,
and those aren't even the only two modern DreamWorks movies that went experimental. Take a look at Bad Guys as well. Bad Guys was experimental as well.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think like the way I'm seeing the animation style, Shrek 5 is looking kind of like Bad Guys if you look at it, honestly.
Like by the way the characters
are animated, because like, look, CGI animation looks more 3D-ish.
Yeah, I think what's missing is like the watercolor effect that the Bad Guys had.
But either way, like, Shrek kind of is resembling it a little bit. Like, I'm trying to look back at all the DreamWorks films that they're currently making right now, and I'm thinking like Bad Guys was another film that they've done, and it's leaning towards what Shrek 5 is going to be looking like.
Yeah, I think that what DreamWorks is trying to do is trying to be experimental with Shrek 5 by giving it its own animation style, which is great. I'm all for it, but I feel like with Shrek 5, it's going to take a little getting used to before we come to accept it. We're not there at the point where we fully accept and embrace it just yet.
Mm-hmm. Either way, I mean, I just want to say, like, when it comes to particular, like, movies and stuff, when it comes to animation changes, when it comes to making a next movie, it might have its hits, it might have its misses. But when it comes to TV series, there's a little different story because when somebody puts a pilot out for a cartoon, it's already animated to its best content. But when it gets greenlit for a series, a lot of things can change. And we have a lot of examples to actually talk about animation changes from pilot to the original series. And one in particular is Gravity Falls, because you've seen how Dipper and Mabel was before. They looked like, well, how do you explain this? Like, what kind of animation style was that compared to what we see now? Because like when you see Alex Hirsch's final product in the series, it looks more appealing, like very, I wouldn't say CalArt style characters, but
we're not going to use that term. That's a term that's heavily overblown by the cartoon community. We will not say it.
Oh, I'm just saying like it's so different. Like for me to say this, like it was animated differently when it came to the pilot of Gravity Falls to like what it is now.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say there's a reason for it, and that's because the reason why they look different is because obviously when a pilot gets greenlit for a series, obviously the series is going to look better automatically because it's given more budget to work with as in comparison to the original pilot. So it makes sense as to why they would do an upgrade. Well,
I mean, if anything, like the way that Alex Hirsch started his Gravity Falls like pilot, it looked already greatly animated as it is because it feels like it's very naturey. Like it was definitely a different animation style because you don't see like black lines in the background. It was just mostly like all nature, which I thought was pretty sick. But then when you look at the final product, Gravity Falls, definitely well defined when you see a lot of black lines defining the trees, defining the roads, making it more appealing compared to like what we saw in the pilot.
Yeah, they further enhanced the animation of not just the characters, but also especially the nature, like you said.
Yeah.
And it all goes back to what I was saying about the difference of budget.
Well, I mean, like either way, the background style looks great. Gravity Falls still ended up becoming a big hit nonetheless. And I really do like how the changes were. But like when you felt the changes, when you first saw the pilot all the way to the final product, how did you feel about the whole thing, like making the changes and everything?
I felt like the Gravity Falls has really evolved. This really just shows an evolution of Gravity Falls. Now, when you look at the pilot in comparison to the series, oh my god, like, you know, the character designs look a bit flat in comparison.
Okay, that's true. Although, to be fair, like, they look more mature. Like, I feel like they're, like, teenagers when you see the pilot compared to, like, what you see in Gravity Falls, the real show on Disney Channel. They look like kids.
Yeah, it's like when you look at the pilot, you like after you've seen the series, let's say you do go back and revisit pilot, you think to yourself, okay, if they had stuck with these character designs, there's no need for them to fear growing up because they're already grown up, they're already 13. So
yeah, it feels like they were 13-year-olds and stuff. I mean, either way, like again, the changes happen, and thankfully they did make it a kids show for Gravity Falls, and it was one of the best shows in Disney Channel. So
yeah. Look how far the Gravity Falls series has come. Like, just look at it. We're so proud of it.
Now, Gravity Falls is one example. From pilot to final product, it turned out to be really good. Another big hit show that we wanted to point out was Steven Universe. When its pilot came out, the character designs were all different, don't you think? Because like Garnet looked like he didn't have her afro anymore. Was it Amethyst? Looks like it's the same character, although it may have a little bit of changes here and there. And then you see Pearl, and I'm like, Pearl looked way different from the pilot compared to now.
Yeah. Now, when you look at Pearl, you'll notice how the final version of Pearl looks more feminine than the original.
Yeah, I have a feeling like, you know, Pearl looks like a trans guy, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, I have a feeling like when if Pearl was going to be like a character that was, you know, either male or female, that would be awesome. But it did end up with Pearl being a girl in the end, and it still worked nonetheless. But like, imagine if the character for Pearl was that as a final design.
Yeah,
would it be a little bit different?
It would have been different, but as long as they got the character personality and actions right, I would have been fine with the original design as well.
There wasn't much big of a difference when it comes to the original design too, because like Steven still wears his pink shirt and jeans. The only thing that kind of threw me off was Pearl and Garnet, because like Garnet didn't look like that same Afro Garnet that she has, and like from the way I'm seeing how Garnet is, she kind of feels like not the mix between Ruby and Sapphire.
I actually really like long-haired Garnet. Now, of course, she looks better in Afro form, but my gosh, she still looks really great in long hair.
Yeah, I think like even if these designs, if the pilot design did end up becoming like the final design, it wouldn't really make a difference, to be fair. Like, you're still gonna have the same story of, Steven and the crystal gems.
I noticed how, just like with Gravity Falls, Steven Universe looks a bit older than the final version of Steven.
Oh, yeah, I think so, too. Well, he's taller. I can totally see he's taller.
Not only taller, but he's more fit. As opposed to...
I guess you can say that, too.
As opposed to the original...
Yeah, I get it. Like, Steven, was a little bit bigger. Yes.
Like, Steven was more... The final version of Steven was more chubbier than the original. Yeah.
I mean, oh, God. There's so much to compare there, but I feel like Steven in the final product was more innocent, too. Because, when you look back at, the pilot Steven, I was thinking, I think he knows his way to get around with the crystal gems. But then when you go to the final product, it was like Steven is lost. Like, he doesn't know how to become a crystal gem, like Pearl, Amethyst, and Garnet, for example.
Yeah, so I like the direction that they went, which in terms of changing Steven's character design, because the purpose was to have the final version of Steven, at least the Steven Universe at the beginning, have it be this innocent little kid that is learning the ways of being a crystal gem from his three mother figures.
Mm-hmm. And again, I was okay with the entire product of Steven Universe. It went through so many seasons, even a future season, which we are not going to mention on more, but it was an amazing series nonetheless. From its pilot to the final product, I would say they did a great job making it.
While not a perfect series, when Steven Universe is great, it is quite a, no pun intended, gem of a show.
Okay.
Steven Universe, when it hits, it really does land.
Yeah, and I believe in my final case here, I'm gonna stand it here. It's it didn't matter which design it was. If it was a pilot design or if it was the final design, it still would end up becoming a really good series.
I think so. I think that whichever animation style that they would go for, it doesn't change how the story and characters are so complex and deep.
Indeed. Now we have another cartoon that we also want to bring up from its pilot all the way to its animated series, and that is Hazbin Hotel. I'm gonna be honest. What difference was there, except for the character designs? Because Charlie was the same old Charlie. The Aggie did have a character design change, honestly. She had only a white dress when she was in the pilot. Now she's wearing, gray, and has much better design, to be fair. What was it? Angel Dust looked like that. Well, you look back in Angel Dust in the regular series, he looks better in the original design. Alistair looks the same, honestly. He still looks the same. What was it? Nifty, I think, was the big key design, because Nifty usually first had a white t-shirt and a white dress. Mm-hmm. And a red dress. Yeah. And then in the final product, she ended up having a maid dress. So what do you like about the difference between pilot to final product for Hazbin Hotel?
I would say that the biggest thing that the two share in common is the design of Hell. I think the design of Hell is relatively the same. They still captured that red, bloody goriness that is Hell itself. But the character designs, like you mentioned, they are somewhat different, because when you look at the characters from the pilot, you'll notice how more rounded and rubbery they are.
I think you're right about that, because when you look back at... Okay, you're right about that, because look at the facial features of, for example, Vaggie and Charlie. They're rounded, versus, what you see in the final product, they're actually, curved. They're not really curved, but it's more straight edged or something.
They're more they have
think
more
about
edges.
Think of Mandark from Dexter's Lab.
It's more the final version of Hazbin Hotel has more sharp edges.
And do you think it was more realistic that way, with the sharp edges, than a rounded face?
I feel like the sharp edges helped complement the series more with its ultimate setting of Hell. I felt like it was more mature, fitting, and more grounded.
Well, when you ended up getting all the money from Amazon Prime to make your own TV series, you obviously are going to make your changes. And the changes did pop up from its character designs to brand new characters, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember in the pilot, we only had freaking, news hosts being most of the channel.
See, I was disappointed that the news hosts in the series had much smaller roles than
I think it's good.
I
think it's good, honestly, because the newscasters are not the main. They're not the important story. The important story was Charlie.
I understand that, but even so, I feel like they could have had a bigger role. Not one of the main roles, but more more appearances.
So it's weird because the pilot talked about Charlie's dream of getting a hotel, and the first episode was literally in the hotel. It literally continued from the pilot. Because remember in the end of the pilot, it was Alistair who said, "So what do you think?" And then in the first episode, he said that same question with an answer finally from Baggy and Charlie. So
yeah, and
what the fuck was that?
I think that if they had stuck with the original pilot look, this is one of those cases in which I would have been fine with, because I really did like the rubbery animation, like the way they moved. I felt it was really fluent.
Yeah, and well, if anything, I do like the whole change. I think they changed it. Because, like, I just remember, like, the whole pilot was just all about the hotel. But we actually see more of hell in the first season of Hazbin Hotel. You get to see the V's. You get to see Heaven. You get to see Adam. You get to see, like, all these characters that never got introduced in the pilot. And I'm like, this is perfect world building. And I'm like, wow, what is it? Vizzy Pop did a really amazing job, like, trying to build what her dream of Hazbin Hotel was going to be about.
Yeah, the expansion upon the lore of Hazbin Hotel was nothing short of amazing, and is the reason why we're getting seasons 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I'm loving that too. But either way, I mean, like, when you look back at the original pilot episode, I'm like, wow, that was how they looked like before.
That was how they looked like before, and you know what? Unlike something like, say, Gravity Falls, this is a character design that I would have been fine with had they stuck with that original.
To be fair, Baggy looks so much better in her new design than the white dress, okay?
Yeah. Now, the new design was obviously better than the old design, but the old design, I would say, is the best that I have seen out of any pilot episode. Of any animation.
Do we have, like, any other cartoons we can compare when it comes to from pilot to final product?
Let's see. I would say, in terms of pilot episodes...
Adventure Time.
Billy and Mandy. Billy and Mandy did have a pilot episode as well.
Wasn't that pilot episode where, like, they both met Grimm?
It's the episode where Billy and Mandy have met Grimm. They do a limbo contest.
Was there a little, like, I feel like the animation for that was like say kind of the same compared to, like, the original series?
Because I think that Billy and Mandy, I'm glad we brought it up, because I feel like Billy and Mandy, when it transitioned to Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, I feel like they polished the animation even with this first season, and then seasons 2, 3, and 4, they evolved the animation even more.
I was gonna say Adventure Time too, because remember Adventure Time used to be just like a regular 2D drawing cartoon, but then when you get the green light from Cartoon Network, now look at it now. It turned out to be an amazing, like, adventure with Finn and Jake, and so many other characters and all.
Yeah, so we have all these case examples of how the pilot episodes evolve into TV series, and the animation does improve in there because of the budget.
Yes, so that's our case there. The budget is the reason why the animation got so much better for all these cartoons.
Yeah, because it goes back to what I was saying about how when you have an animated series, you need as much money as possible in order to create these animation storyboards and, you know, do the voice acting and all that stuff. If you're backed up by a animation studio, then you're heavily funded.
Yeah, you're right about that too. But I must say, like, with all these cartoon examples that we're bringing out, it tells you that the pilot to animation style to the final product ends up becoming what it is. What ends up becoming great, because first off, the budget is one thing, but, like, who knows? If you get that money, it could also go good or bad. Really depends on, like, how things go.
I honestly don't think there's a case example in which a series animation is a downgrade comparison to its pilot episode.
Yeah. I don't think it is, but there might be some. Again, I have to look it up there. Now, I want to talk about the bad side of actually making changes when it comes to animation. And this mostly is because of a change in the middle of the season, for example. Because I remembered a certain show on Disney Channel that looked great in the first season, but when it went to the second season, everything went to, like, why did it look like that?
Yeah.
And this show was...
It's more like WTF, you know?
And this show was American Dragon Jake Long. Like, the design of Jake was great in the first season, but then when you go to the second season, he looked skinny. He looked like very 2D-ish. He had, like, more of an amazing, realistic, like, awesome animated style character of Jake. And then, like, when you see season 2 of Jake Long, I'm like, why do they look so different?
I don't know. I guess you can make the argument that, Jake Long went on a diet or something like that.
Oh, no, it's not that. I mean, look, I remembered watching American Dragon Jake Long in the first season. I was a big fan of it when I finally get to see Jake and Rose finally become a thing. But then when you go to the second season, everybody changed. Like, the design of Rose changed, the design of Jake changed, the theme song changed.
Yeah.
Like, what happened? Why would they do this literally from one season 1 to season 2?
Now, I do get what Steve Loader was trying to do with this, because there's actually a legitimate reason why it looks like that. And that's because when Steve Loader took over and oversaw everything, including the storyboard design and all that, in season 2, he wanted Jake Long to look exactly how a middle-aged school kid would look. And
is that how they're supposed to look?
Yeah, he felt like the season 1 design was unnatural for a kid his age to look. So that's the reason why the animation ended up the way it is.
But Jake looks great from season 1. Like, the animation style was so much better than 2.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. Jeff Good's version of Jake Long was far superior to Steve's.
Then what happened to Jeff Goods? Because he was the one who started up with Jake Long. Then what happened? Did Steve Loader take over?
Steve Loader took over for season 2. And ever since then, and it goes with what I was saying. I get Steve's argument, but it doesn't hold any merit. It doesn't hold... I'm sorry, your argument doesn't hold any merit, but it just looks inferior.
Like, was he trying to even, like, work on a dragon that actually looks like a legit dragon than what season 1 Jake Long looked like as a dragon? Because season 1 Jake Long was, like, buff and actually looked cool as a dragon, compared to, like, season 2 Jake Long, which is like a skinny dragon, which is kind of like what dragons look like. Is that what he was trying to go for?
Apparently that was his argument for it. He felt like because the dragon Jake Long in season 1 was already buff, it kind of takes away from the middle-aged school kid developing, and so he wanted to make sure that in season 2 his dragon form was smaller and skinnier, like that was more appropriate for a middle school.
Do you like
kid.
that too?
It's understandable, but at the same time, I'm still against it. I get what he was trying to say, but it doesn't change the fact that what we see ends up with inferior results. I'm sorry, Steve, but your argument holds no merit.
You've worked on Kim Possible. You worked on Moon Girl, Devil Dinosaur. What made you take these changes in Jake Long, man?
Yeah, it's like, I'm honestly quite disappointed that Steve would, come up with this argument and end up with a design that is inferior. Because I know Steve's better than this.
I know that. I mean, like, this was the next cartoon after Kim Possible. And, like, look, like, I get it. Like, Steve was going to continue on in another show. And apparently Jake Long was given to him while it was mid-season. And I think that was a mistake. I don't know what happened to the first director, why he quit or something. Did he get fired? Did he get quit? I don't know what the whole news was. But when the new director came in and started making all these changes, I was like, this doesn't look appealing to me, honestly.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry, but Jake Long, season 1, like, character-wise, he looks more well-rounded. He looks more detailed.
Exactly. Like, I looked at the design of Jake, and, like, look at every other character there, too. Like, Rose, Spud, like, the people, like, even Grandpa looks so much better. And even like, Jake's sister and, like, everybody else, come on. Like, they look better animated. That's what I was saying. They look better animated compared to season 2 Jake Long. It just tells me, like, they just cut the budget or something. Like, they did a really bad job on it.
Yeah, it's just... I'm sorry. Like, when you compare the two, the left is obviously far superior.
Yeah, I think Jake Long season 1 was better. This is one example of where if you change animation mid-season, the results are going to be a little bit different. Like, Jake Long season 1 was great. Jake Long season 2, I kind of gotten off because of the design and everything. I'm like, why? Why does he have shorter pants? I don't get it. Like, this is the reason why, like, I did love Jake Long when I was a kid, and thankfully, like, Chibiverse continues to put Jake Long in their shorts. But, like, there could have been so much better. I think it should have gotten much better if they continued the same art style,
Yeah, Steve, with all due respect, take the L on this one.
Then we also look. Even in this same year, but Jake Long, another Disney Channel show also did have a change in animation from first season to second season, and that was this cartoon, The Replacements. Like, be fair, I'm a big, huge Todd and Riley fan. I loved The Replacements when I started growing up. Like, they look great, but then, did you think it got better?
I feel like when you look at the right, I feel like it's a bit more polished and less rugged, less rough draft than the left, because the left, I feel like the outlines are a bit too big, and also they look a bit more scratched.
Okay, yeah, that's the other thing too that I was also looking at as well. Like, I don't know I don't know the story about the whole animation change for The Replacements, because I looked everywhere on Google. I tried to look everywhere, seeing what the heck happened. People are saying production change in leadership, etc. It could be the same Loader moment or something. I don't think he directed this show though, unfortunately. But no, you're right. you can see Todd and Riley. You get to see Agent K, Dick Daring, and a bunch of the other characters that were there. They looked very defined with the outlines, so like massive. It tells you like this looks like a drawing instead of a actual animated like character. You know?
Yeah, I feel like. I feel like the character designs on the right look more polished.
But then, like, when I then I also did watch season 2 of The Replacements. Watched it all. Great show, by the way. But I just never expected, like, did it get better? Did it get worse? I thought it got worse, honestly. When I first started watching the show, I'm like, why did it look tanner? Why did they look defined? Okay, defined is great, but, like, I was so conflicted, honestly, when I first saw the changes, to be fair.
I guess you could say that you're in a similar situation to how Shrek fans are right now, in which you look at the new character design, and while you're not against it, you're just not on board with it yet. It's something you have to get used to.
Yeah. I mean, well, here's the other thing that kind of carried season 2 of The Replacements. There was so much great story, so many great side stories that came in the episode where, like, Tasumi ended up actually removing her entire robotic outfit, and now she turned out to be a girl. And I'm like, okay, this looks cool to me. I love it.
Tasumi was the best character of the show, by the way.
Okay,
Tasumi was the best character.
You're a freaking anime fan. You got Abby, who's still like Abby, which is great.
I'm sorry, I had a massive crush on Tasumi when I was a kid.
Was it season 2 Tasumi or season 1? Because season 1 she had that blue hair robotic outfit.
It was a bit of both.
Because season 2 she looked cuter. Season 2 she looked so much cuter.
Oh, season 2. But I'm saying she looked good in both.
I'm just glad. If anything, I'm just glad that she took off the robot, and then the rest of this season with Tasumi off the robotic outfit, she ended up actually just continuing to just be her. And I'm like, thank you, continuation, yay, that's great. Replacements, thank you. No, but I mean, if anything, I'm obviously gonna go short with this, but I'm just saying, like, when it comes to animation changes from season 1 to season 2, obviously the big shock factor happens where you're thinking, like, will it look great? Because it's so weird when you see the introduction to the season 2 of The Replacements. It's it's this design, by the way. Yeah. You see the characters in this design, and then when you see the episode, they look like that. And I'm like, okay, what the fuck? What is going on?
Exactly. You're at the point where, you know, what is going on? What
I know. I mean, again, I'm just like confuddled with the fact that, like, the whole animation change happened. But thankfully, it did go to 2 seasons of the show. It ended really well. I don't know why it got canceled. Though, to be fair, something tells me it was because of ratings. But I was able to live out the 2 seasons of The Replacements. That was a great show. Please watch it. It's on Disney Plus, by the way, for everybody.
The Replacements.
Oh God, Agent K, Dick Daring, let's go. Okay, so we are talking about Disney Channel shows, but let's actually talk about Cartoon Network, because I remember when Jenny Tartakovsky first made, like, these certain shows. They look great. They look different. But then when another person came in to change direction of the show, it wasn't even Jendi. It was like another guy.
Yeah. We're not going to mention his name, but needless to say, ever since he took over, it went downhill from here.
Yes, because let's talk about Cartoon Network shows, because Dexter's Lab, in and of itself, was a classic cartoon. Like, you remember the old design of Dexter, like red-haired and everything. When you look at the new version of Dexter, he looked more defined, to say. Like, it's like very, like it's brighter. I don't know. It looks brighter than the original old design of what Jendi Tartakovsky drew him to be.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm gonna say this right now. Like, this is even worse than the Jake Long character design downgrade.
Wow, I'm surprised about that. I'm very surprised about that.
No, see, this is worse than this. This is worse than the situation with Jake Long, because at least with American Dragon Jake Long, Steve did have somewhat of a decent argument in terms of making Jake more like a middle school age kid. There was absolutely no excuse for this. I'm sorry, but this is bad no matter which way you slice it.
I'm wondering why Gendy ended up actually getting off the show. Like, you were making a great animated show, and then you had more seasons to come, but why did you get off your own show? Like, do you think the direction of another person would actually make it better? No.
Yeah. I mean, could it be that maybe he's, going to focus on another show? Because I do remember that he did work on Samurai Jack back in the early 2000s, so maybe he went to focus on that show.
Okay, yeah, I get it. You had, like, so many cartoons during the 2000s. You have Samurai Jack, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. It also was during that time.
Foster's Home was Craig McCracken.
Oh, sorry, my bad. I don't know what other Gendy films come out. Wonder Over Yonder also may have been in the progress as he was working for it on Disney Channel.
Was Wonder Over Yonder Craig McCracken?
Oh, Craig McCracken too, maybe.
Probably.
I'm getting confused between both of them, honestly.
Anyway, going back to this, yeah, no, this is bad no matter which way you slice it. There was no excuse for having this downgrade.
Also, refresh our mind here. Did all the episodes of season 3 and beyond look like was bad?
Oh, season 3 and 4 pale in comparison to seasons 1 and 2 character design wise, because when you look at the character Dexter on the left, he's much more detailed, he's more well-rounded, like the animation was more fluent, whereas on the right, like this Dexter looks much flatter, like he looks more he has less detail, less fluent, and he's less dimensional.
I have a feeling it was just very lazy, and there was a huge redesign for Dee Dee as well. Like she was still like the Dee Dee that she was in season 1, like being her own like dance herself, whatever she was. And then when you go to season 3 and 4 of the whole design for her actually changed as well. Like I don't know, I didn't like Dee Dee's new design at all.
Don't get me started on what they did to Dexter's dad. That Dexter's dad looked like a rectangle, like a square. He looked so blocky. Like Dexter's dad in the original, like season 1 and 2, he looked more well defined. He looked like a natural kind of dad.
How about Mandark? Because Mandark looked more, he looked more flat, honestly, from the way I'm seeing it.
Not to mention, Mandark tends to have that duck lip.
The whole like defined lip and stuff.
Just like, no, I don't like this. I don't like Mandark having a duck lip. He's supposed to be smarter than that, more intimidating than that.
I just remember the episode where he had his own episode called a Mandark episode, and he was just mostly ha 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 ha, and that was it. That was the whole freaking episode. I'm like, what am I watching?
Yeah, I never got that episode.
Same with the dad episode where he was playing golf, and that was pretty much 8 minutes of him setting up for golf, and then it rains.
Yeah, and not to mention, Mandark's parents wanted him to be a girl, so they named him Susan. But it kind of comes out of nowhere. I don't like the subplot from Mandark because it came out of nowhere. It's not like it's natural for his character.
No, and that's what makes me hate about the later seasons of Dexter's Lab. Like, I can still continue to watch season 1 and 2 of Dexter's Lab, and that was great. Like, I love the episodes they brought up. But then the new redesign, the change in direction, the episodes ended up becoming all flat.
Yeah,
it just was a huge disappointment for Dexter's Lab.
And don't get me started on the writing. The writing itself, seasons 3 to 4, was a massive downgrade for seasons 1 to 2.
I know, like there was so much creativity when it comes to it. Maybe it's just because of Gendy, helping out, working with them, making great stories and all.
Yeah, that actually is a contributing factor to this. When you have Gendy involved, you manage to get better results.
Right. So I'm just saying it out there, because of what I can't see his name. Oh no! And I understand. You guys, please look it up on Google. Whoever the next director was, because he was credited in every episode. So yeah,
we'll leave it at that.
And you'll know why. And you will know why we'll never mention his name. But I'm just saying.
All I'm gonna say is that this makes me glad that as much as I love the monkey and the Justice Friends, it kind of makes me glad that
it sucks they never popped up. Well, they did have a monkey episode, but I hated that episode.
But here's the thing. It's a blessing in disguise that the monkey and the Justice Friends didn't appear nearly as much in seasons 3 to 4, or didn't appear at all, because I would have hated how they would have looked as well.
I mean, they did have a monkey episode, and I thought that was weird.
So the Justice Friends were lucky. They were spared from a bad character design.
Thank God.
The Justice Friends were spared.
So yes, that's one example for us to talk about animation change, because yes, Dexter's Lab did go through an animation change, and we thought it was absolutely terrible. Needless to say, compared to this particular cartoon made by Craig McCracken, right?
No, this cartoon is made by
No, the next one.
The next one is by Craig McCracken, yes.
That is the Powerpuff Girls, okay? I have to say this. Powerpuff Girls looked so much but I don't know, more mature in season 1 because they looked so well designed. Like the characters were well defined. I don't know. Versus the newer seasons of Powerpuff Girls, which is why do they look like kids to me?
Yeah. When you look at the Powerpuff Girls on the left, you could tell they are much more better, well designed. They are much better grounded in terms of character design, because the Powerpuff Girls on the right look more kiddish. There's, not to mention, you got bigger faces, bigger eye pupils. Something about this feels off in comparison to the original.
The fact that the face looks so much like it at the same size compared to their bodies was something. what was it? The Powerpuff Girls of the original days look like they're regular, girls.
Yeah. They look naturally like kindergartners.
Yeah. Again, I don't understand. Look, and here's the other thing too. Like the Powerpuff Girls movie was on that new animation design, by the way.
It was, and spoiler: the Powerpuff Girls movie was awesome, but even with that animation design, let's be honest, the old G one still holds up.
So it changed. Like I remember from like season 1 through 3, or I don't even know what season it happened, but I just remember the old designs and I loved it. It was just like Powerpuff Girls just continuing to be the Powerpuff Girls. Then when the movie came out, because I remember watching it in the theaters too, like it looked great. Honestly, it looked fine. Like the new animation style of what the Powerpuff Girls are going to look like looked fine to me.
Yeah, because it was on a movie budget. It was a movie that's being released in theaters, so it made sense why it looked the way it did when you watched the movie.
Mm-hmm. But why did they continue on to the series?
I don't know why you continued on to the series. It's because
I'm guessing it's the change. Like
it's the change.
You switched from like the cartoon of what it was from the first couple seasons, and then the movie hits. Yeah. It was a theatrical hit, I think. I don't know.
It suffered a similar fate as the one in Dexter's Lab because coincidentally,
Dexter's Lab didn't have like a movie or anything. Like it just switched from like a special or something and then moved over to like this new animation stuff.
No, I'm saying that it's a massive coincidence that a new director, which is the same director that took over for the later seasons of Dexter's Lab, just happened to come on board when the original creator, Craig McCracken, left to focus on Foster's Hope for Imaginary Friends. It's a massive coincidence because when the new director was on board, that's when the animation looked different. So that's what I mean when I say it suffered this similar fate. Mm-hmm. It's just that, like, unlike, Powerpuff Girls, Dexter's Lab didn't have the big hit movie in theaters like you just pointed out.
Right. Again, like, I was so, like, crazied up when it comes to the whole animation change. And, like, again, who the director was that made the animation change and everything. I mean, like, did you like it when they changed up to make it, like, more... I don't know. The way I'm kind of seeing how the new animation style of the Powerpuff Girls was just more like kids. Like, just really focusing on the kids. Yeah. Like, they looked like more kiddish than what they were as the first season of Powerpuff Girls.
They look more kiddish, and it's just... They look a bit more freakish than they did in the left. On the left, they look like I said before, they looked like natural kindergartners with superpowers. But on the right side, they look more like bug-eye freaks.
You said that the girls' eye pupils are much bigger and wider, which is true. Look at the freaking designs. Like, compare Bubbles to the new Bubbles. Like,
they look more mutant-like in the right than they do in the left.
Yeah. What is this? Mojo Jojo has pointy ears in season 5 and 6, so I don't even know the design of how Mojo Jojo was.
Yeah, the design of Mojo Jojo was relatively the same for the most part, but the only thing is that why does he have pointy ears in the new series season in comparison to the original? Because the original, he had natural rounded ears like any monkey does.
And then you even said like other characters from Powerpuff Girls also changed, like Miss Keen or Professor Utonium or the Mayor.
I would say more like the Professor Utonium does tend to have a bit weird eye pupils sometimes, but
it's the same though. It's just the same black eye, like the black dot in his eye.
He didn't suffer nearly as much of the same character design to change as some of the others, but you notice there's a slight bit of changes. You just don't recognize it. But in terms of Miss Keen, what they did to Miss Keen is that
I felt like she looked bigger too. She looked more. How do I say this? Because like
she had more wider eyes.
Oh no, her face got bigger. Her body got. What is happening with the character design?
That's what I'm saying. What happened with the character design? It feels like ever since the new director came on board with these Cartoon Network shows, things have changed.
Yeah, thanks a lot. He who should not be named,
and not for the better.
I cannot say the name because you're look, Loud House fans, But I was just.
How I wish that. Oh, how I wish that this was his worst mistake. How I wish that.
Oh man.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh, but here's the thing. Powerpuff Girls ended like after 5 seasons or so because of like I guess the ratings and stuff. Just remember, Powerpuff Girls continued on overseas into other networks as well. But just remember, like there have been so many different variations of Powerpuff Girls. Like look back at Japan's Powerpuff Girls, and that's the more Powerpuff Girls Z. That one is also a really good anime series. If you guys haven't seen it yet, please check it out. And then you have to look back at the reboot of the Powerpuff Girls. That's another animated Powerpuff Girls we have to also bring up too.
I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't know why I just spent the last 5 minutes ranting about, the character designs for seasons 5 through 6. But let me tell you, I apologize right now because you could have gone so much worse. Like, look at this. The 2016 and the anime version of Powerpuff Girls look infinitely worse than any of the Powerpuff Girls design the OG series. What is this?
Here, I'm gonna do.
What is this?
I'm gonna do something here. This is the original Powerpuff Girls from the top. Like, that is already its own original design and it looks great. And then you look at the 2020 whatever year Powerpuff Girls reboot came up, and they look
dear God,
different.
what is this? What is this?
I mean, look at the bow on Blossom, for example, pointed, more firm, and then look at Blossom's like much. It feels more kawaii, more cuter. Like
they look like bunny ears. They look like red bunny ears.
Yeah, Bubbles looks natural. To be fair, like with the ponytails on the side. And then you look at Bubbles here. I'm like, why is it so raised? It feels very kitty-like for Bubbles to be like that.
Yeah, like this makes the Powerpuff Girls seasons 5 through 6 design look like the seasons 1 through 4 design. It's that bad.
Okay, so I don't know why, but it just from the way I'm kind of seeing how the Powerpuff Girls were like designed and stuff from the later seasons, it just tells me they're getting younger for some reason. Like.
They somehow de-age. Like they drank the fountain of youth for whatever reason. They grow younger.
Yeah, because like the first 3 looked like they were just regular girls. Then it looked like they got younger from the big heads that they have. And then look at the reboot. That was terrible of a design itself. Never mind. And also the show was absolutely fucking terrible itself. So.
Oh, the character designs are the reboot's least amount of problems. Like there are far bigger problems with the reboot than the freaking character designs.
Thankfully, to be fair, we didn't have that live action Powerpuff Girls. Thankfully.
Oh, thank goodness.
Have you seen? I'm pretty sure you all have seen it by now. I'm like, thank God we don't have that. These are now young women Powerpuff Girls. What the fuck are we watching here?
Like the fact that it didn't get greenlit and finalized makes me have a bit more faith in this timeline.
Yeah, thank God, like CW actually ended up canceling that thing because like I just saw the trailer and I'm like, this is what the Powerpuff Girls are gonna be like. You're kind of killing the franchise now.
This is quite possibly the smartest move that CW has made in a long while.
Yeah, but either way, I mean, Powerpuff Girls went through so much stuff, and I know that there's gonna be there's a possible brand new series. I heard Craig talking about it. Who knows? There could be a new Powerpuff Girls show on the rise.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully not like the live action or anything, but.
Not even?
I hate it how Powerpuff Girls like ended up just becoming bad, like Dexter's Lab was. Like it was so great from the first couple seasons, then the animation change happened and then it ruined it.
Oh, here's the thing. I don't want to reboot at all, whether it be animated or live action, because chances are it would be worse than the 2016 Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it can't get any worse than 2016 Powerpuff Girls, to be fair.
I'm sorry. Like, maybe it could pull off a miracle like Fairly Odd Parents did with the New Wish, but I'm not counting on it.
I mean, who knows? It could happen. I mean, give some faith for Fairly Odd Parents. It did a great job.
Like the amount of Powerpuff Girls reboots and, Japanese series and, a canceled live action show, maybe lose faith in any hope of a next Powerpuff Girls series being good.
I mean, I really look with all these reboots coming along. There's a possible chance Powerpuff Girls may come back. At least make it like good, like unlike the 2016, which was turned out to be such a terrible show. Yeah, I want to at least see Powerpuff Girls like do its justice, just like what the Fairly Odd Parents have done. Mm-hmm. I really hope it does the same thing because it was a great franchise growing up watching it.
Yeah, but if something tells me that it's gonna take a long time before that happens, and even so, they're still got things to work on. Like they got to look at the previous Pop-Up Girls series on what to do with it. Look at the OG series and what not to do with it. The 2016 reboot.
That's true. All right. We did talk about Disney Channel. We did talk about Cartoon Network. I do want to talk about one other Nickelodeon show that ended up actually having an animation change mid-season, and that was All Grown Up. Now, All Grown Up was. Like you look back at All Grown Up, it looked like from the first season on and second season, it looked like it was kind of like animated like the Rugrats was.
Yeah.
But then when you go to the later seasons of All Grown Up, why are they more defined? Shadows are coming in, hairstyles are different. Look, you watched All Grown Up. What were you? How did you like the whole animation change when it came from the first season to the last season?
okay, I understand what the series was going for, because the reason why Nickelodeon decided to make that animation change was because they wanted to make these preteens look more hipper, like in terms of the clothing, the character design. They wanted to make them feel like hip preteens or teen characters. I get what they were going for, but I'm going to be real with you. When I first saw it, I was not on board with it. I was not a fan of the new look for these.
So after the first season, you dropped it?
After the first season, I dropped it. I couldn't stand that character design.
So I remember Phil and Lil used to have like hair raised up, and then now it got drooped down.
Yeah. And also, Tommy, something about Tommy kind of looked off in comparison to the OG design. Like,
well, lighter hair, different shirt. What else?
Yeah, and they had much more lighting design in terms of.
Yeah, I was gonna say like they did have a better. I don't know. I feel like animation did better in All Grown Up too. Like the newer seasons, yes, because they actually put defined shadows. They actually changed the character design a little bit here and there. One other thing too, I felt very as told by Ginger. To be fair, like I don't know what they did because All Grown Up looked like more as told by Ginger now because of all the changes that happened, you know?
Yeah, and but the reason why I like the OG, the old character design better is because it stayed more true to the Rugrats universe, how the Rugrats looked. I feel it stayed more true to the Rugrats character design.
Remember when they first brought up All Grown Up? It was all based off that one special.
It was based on that one special, and
they kept that design when they made it to the series.
And the reason why it worked well with this old design as opposed to new design is that the animation was consistent. It was very consistent with the Rugrats overall animation style. Mm-hmm. Whereas with the Brides, I feel like it's your typical generic, animated sitcom.
No, it's more of a teenage, series, which, to be fair, like, I know what they're trying to do when they made that second season change. And I'm like, okay, cool, but again, I mean, the animation chills. I don't know. Here's the thing: the animation was better. The writing was, I think, went downhill from there. Honestly, because I remember watching the first season of All Grown Up, and I liked every character there. Like, I seen the whole storylines of Tommy and Dill being brothers, and they actually can talk now compared to like as they were babies. So
I'm gonna say this right now: Dill was the best character in All Grown Up.
Dill was definitely like wild. Like he was great. He was really great.
The amount of development Dill went through.
I mean, even like some of the characters, like the characters in All Grown Up, I mean, they kind of do resemble like what they were back when they were babies. Like you seen Angelica being all snobby, Susie trying to be successful, which I thought was pretty cool from her.
Tommy still has that leadership role.
Yeah, like, he does have the leader. He does have the leader, and then like Phil and Lil continues to be twins. They fight each other and stuff like that. I thought it was still like something cool. But then when you go to the second season, I saw more like what the heck happened, drama and stuff going on. Oh, it's trying to be like a Stole by Ginger.
Yeah, and it's failing at it. I feel like As Told by Ginger pulls it off better than.
Okay, it did. But no, I mean, when you bring in a teenage angst, and I felt like that was the thing that was going on back in the 2000s. Like, people started growing up watching like what was it, Degrassi,
Zoe 101,
Zoe 101, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Those kind of shows, and those have teenage angst in them.
So you could say that the early to mid 2000s was the era of the teen angst, like the teen angst era.
So when All Grown Up tried to do the same thing, no, it didn't work out in the end.
It didn't work out because at the end of the day, the entire gang was meant to be babies. At the end of the day, that's the thing.
Well, yeah, they have to grow up eventually, right?
You have to grow up eventually, but I'm saying that I get what they were trying to do. It shows what happens if they actually did grow up, but I feel like it fell flat by being like this generic, teen angst, kind of series. And honestly, that's not how I think of Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil. I think of Tommy, Chucky, Phil, and Lil. I'll always think of them as the cute little Rugrats going on these adventures.
Yeah, and they've gone through all these events. To be fair, like most of the adventures are now in high school.
Yeah.
From the way I'm seeing it here.
And I think it's because of one thing. It's because the Rugrats had their own identity of it being, babies being on, these imaginative adventures, whereas All Grown Up is trying to blend in with the teen angst era.
I don't. No matter what, I mean, the only thing that we're gonna say about it is that I feel like the animation style definitely was better in All Grown Up 2, season 2 and beyond, because it got more defined. Like the characters look like teenagers. You see shadows in the animation, which I thought was better than being flat like what All Grown Up was in season 1. Like you can see the difference, right? Like it looks way better animated in season 2 compared to season 1.
I don't know. I kind of have to.
What makes it different? Like, look, like that is very flat. Honestly, look at the colors that they used for All Grown Up season 1. Look very flat to me, and it looks like the old basic Rugrats back in the '90s, like the late '90s.
And that's why I love the old design so much. Why do I love the old design so much?
Okay, maybe you just didn't like the change of this animation, I guess.
I was not ready to adapt to it. I was not.
So it's just like me in the replacements. Huh?
Or just like the Shrek fan base.
Yeah, the Shrek fan base doesn't like it either. I know that.
Yeah, it's just that like now I do understand where the Shrek fan base is coming. I understand where you're coming from in terms of replacements. Like this is my situation right here. This is my situation where I get what they were going for. At the same time, I prefer the old style. Thank you very much.
Okay, no, that's understandable. I mean, either way, like, I mean, the whole point of this whole, like, presentation was just more of, like, saying, hey, animation has changed, and sometimes when animation changes, it goes for the better, it goes for the worse. Yeah. You've seen that in movies, like Puss in Boots and Spider-Verse, but then when it comes to, like, animated shows, that's a hit or miss to say.
It really comes down to the purpose of the animation change. The purpose as well as the situations when it comes to budgeting and all that kind of stuff. And behind the scenes situations. Yeah. It all comes down to those.
Either way, I don't think we see much animation changes when it comes to cartoons anymore. I haven't seen it at all recently where things change in the next season or something.
Yeah. I mean, the most recent example that I could come up with is the Loud House, I feel, was more refined in comparison to its pilot episode. You remember the pilot episode?
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense. The pilot
episode is another example.
Pilot episode feels more comic looking compared to now, which looks very clean.
Yeah. Yes. And also, there's this, pilot episode, not the pilot episode, but the first episode, Left in the Dark, in which...
Oh, yeah, that's very comic looking as well. And
it had that different look in comparison to the later episodes and seasons of the Loud House, where Left in the Dark still had that, same look at the same animation style as the OG pilot.
Oh yeah, indeed.
So I feel like Loud House has also evolved in terms of its animation as well.
Yeah. So if anything, I mean, if anything, I did say animation style really depends on like how things go. I don't know what else to say. But hopefully, if anything, we've learned how animation changes can make or break a product. And with the next upcoming changes for Shrek, for example, I'm hoping that they learned their lessons after what's going on with the backlash that's been going on with Shrek, and probably wonder if they want to go back to the old design, go stick with the new design, and make it polished better. Because I know this movie is coming out in 2026, which we have a long time to go.
Yeah,
they probably will have ways to redefine the animation, if anything.
Yeah, and honestly, this really does bring up questions as to what sort of movie franchises or TV shows will end up meeting the same fate as the shows we mentioned before, in which they change the animation style for better or for worse. We don't know. Time will tell.
Yeah, time will tell. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to bring up when it comes to this topic or anything else tonight?
Nothing much I want to say. That Shrek 5 definitely gave us one hell of a topic to talk about.
Yeah, because it's just a continuing thing that animation changes continue to either make or break a product, and hopefully Shrek doesn't get broken.
Yeah, I'm glad that we got to talk about, we got to discuss Shrek 5 trailer, like, in addition to this topic. Not just Shrek 5 trailer alone, because I feel like animation changes are nothing new. It's been going on for years before, and it's going on for much different movie franchises and TV shows. So Shrek 5 is another prime example.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, I think if you have anything else to say, I got nothing much to bring up, so I'm guessing we're kind of ending our episode here.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, I hope you guys learned the history of like the animation changes that happen in cartoons in history. But that's it for our episode tonight. Just a heads up for next week. We will not be streaming on Wednesday next week. We're going to be streaming on Thursday next week. Wednesday, we have obligations to watch a certain movie in 4K.
Yes. And by certain movie, we mean one of the greatest animated movies of all time.
Yes. Please check. I mean, you'll probably see it in your movie theaters, but it is coming up next week. It's going to be on a Wednesday, so we're going to move the episode recording to Thursday next week. So make sure you mark your calendars for that. We will also put reminders on our social medias as well. If you haven't followed our social medias yet, make sure you follow us on our Twitter, on our Instagram, and also like and subscribe on our YouTube. Like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also get ready for the madness because the voting lines are about to start up this coming up real soon at midnight tonight.
So don't forget, go out and vote because democracy rules.
Yeah.
Vote for which cartoon you like.
Really, our parents' New Wish is going to win today, is it?
Oh, I will bet all my money on Fred Parents' New Wish.
Oh, we'll see. Monsters at Work fans, you got to come up and rise.
The real clash comes down to Arcane versus Hazbin Hotel.
Well, that's coming up on Saturday. Ooh.
That itself is going to be one hell of a fight.
We'll see how it goes. But anyways, that's all for us here tonight. Thank you very much for watching our episode. We'll see you guys next Thursday for a new episode of the Anination Podcast.
Yes, so until next time, stay awesome.
Yeah. You had to bring up...
And also... don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky.
Oh, I just said that. Yeah. I just said that, yeah.
And also, don't forget to go out and vote, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, yeah, you just said everything I said. Okay, anyways. All grown up. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's something I had to bring up because the new animation designs have, somewhat kind of
I
bothered
know.
me a bit.
What other cartoons did have a change of animation? Because I don't remember anything besides that. Well, maybe if you look at anime, maybe Devil's a Part-Timer that had an animation change.
That and I remember Bleach. Like Bleach is another prime example.
Oh, but then again, it took them many years to make the next new season.
Yeah, so that makes sense. Simpsons definitely has come a long way in terms of animation change as well.
Mm-hmm.